You are listening to the Savage FINcast, episode 106, Dragons, Tigers, and Bears. Oh my!
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the Dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the show that henshin a go-go, baby. My name is Jim.
I'm Craig Olson.
I'm Raven Perez.
And welcome again to a new episode of the Savage FINcast. We, as far as we know, the only podcast on the internet that talks about Savage Dragon and its creator, Erik Larson, exclusively.
10 years strong, baby. Congratulations to us.
Yeah, no one else was saying it.
Yeah. Thanks, us.
I'm excited. November is our actual 10 year, but you know we're getting close to it, and hopefully we can think of something cool to do for it.
Is that when we get tenure?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They can't let us go, so we can start acting
That's right.
so weird.
We can't let ourselves go.
You know, there's never going to be another place for me to tell this. I knew a professor, and as soon as he got tenure, he said he was going to show his ass the whole time. As soon as he got tenure, he started acting crazy, and was like, one of the craziest things I ever saw him do is he stapled like sandwich cheese, packet and all, to the wall. You're just outside of his office.
I thought you were going to say it to his ass.
Well, I mean, that's the only way it could be crazier. You'd go to see him, and his fucking, like, the wall beside his door would just be covered with sandwich cheese. Stapled.
Wait, covered?
Covered, dude. Like fucking.
I was thinking like one pack or something,
no,
like one
dude,
slice.
A lot. Like.
That's just why?
Because he was tenured, and there was nothing they could do. It was a flex.
Is this art school?
Yeah.
Makes sense. I'm just kidding.
Watch Art School Confidential, the movie based on the Daniel Close comic. It's fucking how it is. It is. It's right. It's completely accurate. Murderer and all.
So anyway,
What? Wait, what? Wait! I missed that. Murder and all. I guess I got to watch that movie.
Murder and all. Anyway.
So yeah. Anyway, we got a little bit of news to talk about.
Just a little.
Just a little. Let me just kick this off with. We got Erik Larson is apparently on a variant cover bender. We got announced alternate covers for Image Series' Crossover number 6 and Geiger number 1. Crossover is a series by who's doing that?
Donny Cates.
Oh, that's right. That's the Donny Cates series. It's kind of I'm reading it and I like it. It's basically the story of the what happens when a comic book universe crashes into the real world during the comic book universe is like having a cosmic crisis of some sort, and it causes a city to materialize in quote unquote the real world, and the kind of ramifications that has. Erik's cover is just Dragon punching at Witchblade. Mm-hmm. In the background, there's regular series character with a big sword that's plot relevant as of the last issue.
There's a Spawn on that cover too.
Very tiny Spawn leg, yeah. I think there was
Ben Grimm.
Yeah, there was a bunch of like Marvel hero like off to the edges.
Yeah.
There's color inverted Superman.
I don't want anyone being shitty to us. Donny Cates wrote it, but like D. Knife and Jeff Shaw are the artists.
Yes.
So don't come after us, okay? We fucking know Donny is a writer.
I'm not going to spoil it, but I at least know for a couple issues there's another major independent character that's plays a role.
He's on the covers now. I don't feel too bad about spoiling it, but
You talking about You Know Who, man?
yes, you know who, man, indeed.
Okay. I'm going to be straight shooter. As much as Jim likes crossover, I hate it that equal amount.
I see.
So I'm going to say I had a very painful experience of I canceled my crossover pull list. I was like, I don't want this. And they're like, oh, sorry, man, too bad. And I was like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And then here comes this goddamn variant, and now I got to walk in there like a fucking shamed asshole and be like, can I get crossover variant cover number 6, Eric Larson? I hope he doesn't.
And then they're going to shame you for
they will.
Dragon being on the cover.
Dude, they are. They're going to shame me so hard, dude. It's okay.
Oh, a note about the crossover cover. So Eric's cover can be ordered in any quantity that the comic shop wants to order it in. But apparently there's a 1 in 100 foil variant that I guess you get for ordering 100 copies.
Holy crap.
Which seems like a lot for this series.
Yeah, there's only a couple of major stores I can think of probably would order that many. But
exactly. So if you're a
Yikes.
super duper 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 Savage Dragon completionist, maybe it's time to give it up.
Stuff outside the highbrow universe doesn't count for completionists,
I suppose.
Does it not? Because
I'm just making myself feel better because I'm not getting a foil cover.
Can I say I love the way Eric draws Witchblade, though?
Oh yeah, I've always thought he kind of drew her kind of pretty cool. Even back when he was doing the Image team up stuff.
I like the giant sword.
Oh yeah, Giant Sword is plot relevant. Giant Sword
It's
is
from
kind of
Godland.
cool. Is it from Godland? Is it specifically from Godland?
Yep.
Okay, so I've never seen Godland, so I actually thought it was something else. But that actually makes more sense.
Readers with a keen eye know that Godland had a Savage Dragon variant.
Well, I mean, Godland...
Oh, the Savage Dragon #1
Yeah.
Parody type thing?
Yep.
What a homage?
Yeah, remember when everyone was doing homages?
Well, Dragon had a straight-up crossover with Godland during World
Did he?
Tour. Unless that was the other...
Not Godland.
Oh,
You're
wait,
thinking
that was God
Sholey.
Country.
Yeah.
God damn it.
God damn it. This is Godland that Donny Cates wrote. Another Donny Cates book.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes
Right.
sense.
No, you guys are wrong. God Country is what he wrote.
God Country?
Godland is Tom Sholey.
Yeah, Godland is Tom Stoley.
God damn it, so I'm wrong.
Wait, so what's the sword from?
God Country.
God Country.
By Tom Scioli.
No,
No, God damn it. God damn it.
Is this a bit?
Godland is Tom Sholey. No sword.
Okay.
God Country has a sword and had the homage cover.
Okay.
And was
God
written
damn
by
it.
Donny
The words
Cates.
from my mouth.
That was, again, it was another one of those that I started it and I was like, I can't stick with this.
I do kind of hope Dragon shows up in the series because he totally could, and that would be fun.
Would he, question to you as a fan, if he was like, or actually this is probably you're reading it anyway and liking it. Question to Craig. Craig, if Dragon recurs in crossover the way that You Know Who Man does is apparently recurring, are you going to pick up crossover for those Dragon cameos?
Yes, because we're going to have to talk about it on the FINcast.
Oh, no, you're right.
Right?
Oh,
And,
I forgot.
I'm kind of with you, Raven. I'm teetering on dropping it, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. And now that this cover has come out, I can't pull the trigger because I got to see what's inside.
The interesting thing about it is that so far, well, actually, it's a lie. Okay, I was about to say something that ended up being wrong, because the weird part is it has almost as many Dark Horse character crossovers as it does Image at this point.
It's all Donny Cates properties.
No, because You Know Who Man isn't Donny Cates.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, but they work together, I think.
right? But those Dark Horse crossovers were still Donny Cates books,
All right, fair enough.
so that's why he owns the IP.
Oh, that makes sense then.
So that's where those characters that you're thinking of came from. they're Donny Cates books, so like he owns those characters. But you are correct. It is weird. I was reading that issue, and it was like, on sale from Dark Horse now. And I was like, weird.
Well, I mean, the title of the book is called Crossover. It'd
Right.
be pretty crappy if it wasn't a crossover with any other
characters. Of course, crossover is double
Characters.
meaning in this case because it's comic books crossing over with the real world.
Sure, but it's got to have some of each meaning, I guess, for it to
Oh
work.
my God.
What?
There's a coloring error on this cover.
You sure about that?
Look at Dragon's left bicep.
You're gonna
Look
have to
right-
give me a second because I'm not looking at it right now.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying.
They made the shirt too long.
Yeah. Shirt's too long on his left arm, and clearly Eric drew the line.
Hope someone got fired for that.
I'll rake you over the coals! No, I'm kidding.
All right, hold
not-
on. Left arm.
Left arm.
So the one closest to us.
Go to the pinky of the left fist and go straight down.
Oh, I see. So that's.
Tell me that shouldn't be green.
I guess it probably should be green. Yeah.
I don't.
It's okay.
I don't
It's
care.
not that big a deal.
Yeah, I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
joking.
pretty minor.
I'm being
I
dramatic.
I like how they gave it the retro colors and worn out look.
It also
Yeah,
is
I
interesting,
love
kind of
it.
interesting that it's Dragon, and not Malcolm.
They requested Classic Dragon.
Oh, cowards!
Yep.
That okay.
Yep.
How do you know that?
Somebody asked. They said, "Why was it Dragon and not Malcolm?" And Eric said it was Dragon by their request.
I also don't think Witchblade looks like this anymore.
They probably let.
She all covered up now
I don't know.
Yeah, she is.
for a new era.
Yeah, New Witchblade does not look like that. Well, what about Geiger, guys? I feel like we've wrote a small novel.
Yeah. The Geiger cover, of course. I don't know a lot about Geiger. It's like a post-apocalyptic superhero thing.
Right.
I mean, Eric's cover is pretty cool because Eric draws really good skulls.
Yeah. I love it. I
And
love
it
this cover.
glows.
Geiger is clearly some kind of radioactive skeleton man in a cloak.
Does that kind of get you hyped a little bit?
A little bit.
They call him Joe Glow or the Meltdown Man.
Glow bones.
I always like the Eric covers where like the heads are like close up,
Look at
screaming as
this
they're about
scary
to get
guy
attacked.
jumping at me.
There's all these mutants. Of course, the classic bat wing helmet thing.
The guy under the signature, he's like, that guy's got a new dick.
Yes.
That's what he's pointing at. Look at the pointing finger and tell me that's not what he's saying.
He's
Oh
not-
my God, that
that's
dickless
not
guy's
what
coming
he's
right at
saying.
For the listeners, a mutant is pointing to the skeleton's penis.
That's what I say. I'd be like, hey, do you guys have that issue, that comic? It's hard. I can't remember the title, but on a cover there's a mutant pointing at a skeleton's lack of a boner. And they'd be like, oh, Geiger, #1.
Yes.
Got it.
Glow crotch, #1.
Joe-
No, it's good to see Eric on these covers. I always like when he gets the props and people ask him to do variants and stuff like that. We don't get enough of them.
Yeah, and agreed. I totally agree. And I think that, covers are a huge strength of his. His Savage Dragon has some of the best fucking covers in the biz. And yeah, I love to see Eric getting out there, stretching his, legs and doing other shit. So fuck yeah, dude. It's fantastic. Both of these covers look excellent.
It's also fun, especially on the crossover, to see old school Dragon on a cover again.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's only been a few months.
I'm gonna make you guys choose a
I mean,
baby.
old school Cop Dragon.
Which cover do you prefer?
What, between the two? Crossover
Yeah.
and Geiger?
Yeah, you gotta pick.
I mean, I'm going to go with crossover because I kind of think it's a classic superhero action pose thing. I mean, Geiger is too, but there's only one guy jumping there.
Yeah, you could crossover just because all the image guys on there and stuff. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Same. Totally same. Yeah, I give it to it.
It's not like you could do that on Geiger, though.
Right,
I mean,
right. It's unfair. There's a third cover.
Yeah, we also got a cover for Savage Dragon 262. So I had to do a double take when I saw this cover because it seemed really familiar, and that's because issue 261 also has Malcolm and Paul, in that case, jumping through a glass plate window. Here, it's just them fighting a bunch of VC goons, including everyone's favorite, Fountainhead. Oh, and
yeah.
apparently, those are, are those, not War and Terror, the other one with the pants.
Rudehead?
No, Roughneck.
Roughneck. What's a rude?
Oh, the other one with the pants.
Yeah, Roughneck.
Right. Yeah, and he confirmed that is Chaos.
Oh, yeah, Chaos in the foreground, yeah.
Yep, Chaos in the foreground. Which is cool. We haven't seen Chaos in Control in a long time, right?
In a long time, yeah.
We saw them briefly in a panel when the VC was coming to Canada.
Chaos, this is a really big reach. Remember way back when, well, way back, within the last 10 years, Erik introduced the second generation VC kids?
Yeah.
Remember that first cover they appear on? Chaos is on that cover, but never appears actually in the story.
I don't remember.
Wow.
I'll have to pull it up and show you, but yeah, if you look on that page, there's a Chaos looking monster character among that group, and that character never shows up in that story.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like there was going to be like a young Chaos guy?
Possibly. I don't know. I mean, he does look a bit smaller than what Chaos looks like. Fair point.
Let's take a look at this.
I do. Am I crazy, or is at some point it was established that Control got killed?
No, he never.
Yeah, in the old universe.
Okay, so that never hasn't. There's no confirmation that happened in this universe.
Right, he's around in this universe.
Okay, so maybe it's Chaos and Control. Hopefully, we'll actually see him because Chaos and Control are pretty cool.
We do see them. I mean, it's like I want to say it's like 251 or something that we saw them for a panel, like in the background.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Anyway.
Hold on. I'm
but
looking
yeah,
at that
cool
issue.
cover though.
180. Oh, you're right, Jim. 187 for the listener. In the background, you totally see what looks like Chaos with no control.
Yeah.
Good eye, dude.
Like baby Chaos.
I remember at the time it was weird that they was on the cover, but wasn't in the story.
We never talked about that, did we? Did you ever mention that on the actual FINcast?
I
don't think we did.
I mean, it was issue 187. We did it like freaking 7 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
You'd have to
It's
go
just
back
funny
and
because
listen.
screw that.
Yeah, we ain't looking back, only forward. Yeah,
I don't feel like we ever discussed that though.
No,
it's
it's funny.
first
That's
I'm
why
thinking of
when
it.
Jim said that, I was like, wait, what the hell? Like, what? Did we really not talk about that? It's fucking wild.
It's hilarious.
So what else
Wow.
we got?
So coming in the pipeline, years in the making, we finally got confirmation that Ant issue 12 is officially done. Now, Ant was that series that Mario Gully did for Image. I don't know, how many years ago was it? 10 years ago?
14.
And 14, Erik ended up purchasing. Most people that listen to our podcast know we've been kind of clamoring for this and interviewing Erik about when this was going to come out. Mm-hmm. And it was finally solicited for June 9th of this year. So it's confirmed. It's going to be a one-shot at this point to kind of close up the series. It's going to tie up the original, well, I guess it's not the original series, but the Image series of Ant. But I don't think it's necessary to read the previous issues. I think Erik said that once that's done, he's going to start over from one. Is that the way you guys understand it?
Is correct.
That is how I took it. This is the conclusion of the 12-issue series, and then he'll do his own thing following that.
Right. And the cover's got Ant and it's got Daredevil, the dynamic Daredevil or whatever you want to call him. What is it? The Golden Age Daredevil.
Yes.
Jumping kind of in the reader's face. Looks like they're jumping off a building or something.
So, I don't want to get us too much on a tangent on this, but on Twitter, when this issue 12 was being discussed, apparently, I guess, Gully did some pages for this issue.
Yeah.
Really?
A long time ago. Like,
Yep.
apparently Erik did, like, really rough layouts.
The layouts?
For the whole issue.
Yeah.
And Gully was supposed to do the issue based upon it. And he did a page in a sewer fight. But he changed what Erik had drawn. In fact, he changed one panel very dramatically to have...
I remember this.
Have
yeah.
Ant sticking her crotch in some guy's face.
Right.
Which was...
And Erik got pissed about it.
Yeah. Apparently that's kind of what broke the camel's back on the idea of Gully actually finishing the series. Or at least that's what it looks like. But yeah, he because he went off script so badly. Erik shows the side by side showing his roughs, what Gully did, and what the final page for what Erik did look like on his Twitter. And it's
is that recent that he did that?
Here, I will actually link this to you. And you can,
well, the listeners, but I mean,
so you can describe what you're seeing because I'm apparently bad at it.
No, I know what you mean. Ant's doing the trope of killer thighs, where she wraps her, feet around a dude's head and breaks his neck, and like the guy's got his mouth out, like, and like his tongue is out. And
Craig,
yeah.
it's in the Discord.
Yeah,
chat.
you can see his tongue is like almost on her hoo-hoo. And he's like getting his neck broken by thighs,
But
that
yeah,
trope.
I guess this page must have been done years ago now, long time ago.
I remember when this happened, and I guess I didn't realize this was actually going to be the issue 12. But now you say it makes sense.
Because I think the initial plan was to have Gully finish the series, and then Erik would do his own thing. And because
that was it.
This happened, that didn't happen, and so Erik is doing it himself.
There's an added wrinkle. Sorry, Craig. One last thing. There's an added wrinkle that the character that Daredevil is replacing a character that they don't have the rights to use too, apparently.
Right, because
Yes.
apparently at some point, some later Ant issues included a character that he doesn't have the rights to. In fact,
Right.
those issues aren't even available digitally as a result of that.
Right.
And so Daredevil has to be slotted in to make it make sense, based on what Erik had scripted all those years ago.
Right.
And I just remember this was like before Erik was doing the explicit stuff in Savage Dragon.
Oh yeah,
so he was
yeah. See,
It's
now,
funny 'cause-
it's funny because Erik could do that, totally do that now, and we wouldn't bat an eye.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter at all, right?
But I think he wants a different direction for Ant.
And Ant's not supposed to be that.
I will say that thank God that he is starting over. I know he really went back and forth about whether or not he should start over, like with like 12 then 1.
Right.
But like, thank God, dude.
Starting over is the best plan. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like
Honestly,
a continuity
doing this
nightmare.
12th issue is probably kind of a speed bump in and of itself.
Yeah,
It's hard to say if it's a really the smartest move because it ultimately might cause confusion.
It's gonna.
I don't agree with him doing this 12. Just cut and start over. Like, I don't know. What do you gain from doing this? I think it's just part of Erik's OCD of wanting to finish the series off and start new. But at this point, like, it's a 14-year-old property that hasn't seen the light of day over a decade. So
it's kind of nuts.
Nobody
though.
remembers.
Well, you say that, but I remember when this cover came out, when the solicitation came out, it got a lot of social media buzz, at least people who remember Ant.
Yeah, but are those people going to like the new version?
That's my question.
It's a question because I think people were there for Gully's art, and Erik is a great artist, but he's not the same style.
Right.
So, I mean, I prefer this. I love this, and I can't stand Gully's art. So, win for me. But is that going to be...
Right. It's just weird and confusing. First of all, I mean, the sales for a 12 versus the sales for an issue 1. So if you're going to come out with something brand new, just come out with a 1, get the sales. You're going to risk coming out with a 12. Half the audience is going to read it and thinking they're going to get Gully and not like it. Is that going to hurt your first issue sales now? But, hey, it's Erik's deal, and we're just along for the ride. I'll enjoy it either way, but just a questionable decision on my end.
No, I
think
agree. I totally agree. I think that, like, obviously we're going to be super happy. Like, I can't wait for, like, Eric's take on Ant. Like, I am fucking stoked and have been stoked since the whole, like, you know, Spawn, Ant, Malcolm, like, triple crossover. I've been so hyped to learn about, like, Gadget Man and the conspiracy to take over the Earth by rich people and all that shit. All that stuff was awesome. But I feel like issue number 12 is a potential to just confuse the market. Like, people, I think, will look at it and be like, what? 12? What? 1? I don't know. People are stupid is all.
Clearly he should have stealth dropped it like Kirkman.
You know what, Jim? A stealth drop actually would have been perfect. Because there would have been no chance for confusion. And it would have just been like, oh, shit, here this thing is. Oh, excitement. Oh.
I'm also not sure about incorporating Daredevil into this.
I don't. It's good to see him. It's been a while.
Yeah. I think you want to draw some attention, do something like crossover, and get another Image property to use.
I think the problem is that, like, Eric just wanted to do all characters that, like, he owns or whatever.
Right.
And then the problem is that, again, Eric has that continuity in his head. Like, he doesn't want to drag Malcolm into it, which Malcolm would be more high profile than Daredevil. But, like, Daredevil's not doing anything and Malcolm is, you know what I mean?
To me, though, this is like issue 12. You know, it's finishing up someone else's run. So even if he never collected it and anything else, bring in, like,
I mean, the thing is,
Spawn
he can't
or
even collect it because there's issues that can't be collected.
Right.
Right.
Like, where's it going to fit, right?
So what I'm saying is, like, bring in, like, a Spawn or, I don't know, some other high-profile kind of, like, Image character, maybe one of Liefeld's guys or something, and just to drum up the interest from, like, another group, and then you're not really going to collect it anyway, or, you know, so you don't have to worry about that, like, someone else's character screwing up your run when you start over with issue 1.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I don't
know. He knows what he's doing, I guess.
He will show us.
And it will be good. We'll probably dedicate a whole episode to it, so.
Yeah, we'll end up talking about it either way. Final news article. Hey, look, guys, no matter what we want to say, you know, Eric's got the Midas touch, apparently. Spider-Man splash page sold for $50,400 in a heritage auction. It was originally an interior...
Moly.
Yeah, right. It was originally an interior splash page from The Amazing Spider-Man number 330, page 6. That was back in 1990. It got repurposed for a cover later. That's The Amazing Spider-Man number 1 variant in 2018. And the current owner is entertaining but not necessarily accepting offers above $75,600 as of this recording. So
that's so stupid. You
well,
just
bought
it.
I mean, the funny thing is the value of original art only ever goes up. Never depreciates.
Yeah, but he just bought it, though. Like, if someone really wanted it for that much, they could have bid on it.
Should have attached an NFT, sold it for millions.
That's just wild, though. I mean, it's
yeah.
I don't know who is the type buying this. It's purely people for just investment reasons,
money launderers,
because it's just too much for an original piece of art.
Well, that's the thing. You're not buying the art. See, that's the thing about NFTs. I don't want to get into this too much, but when you buy the NFT is actually where all the value is, because NFTs are scarce, or at least they're artificially scarce, and there's a belief that they'll have significant value in the future. So people aren't buying art for millions of dollars. They're buying the NFTs for millions of dollars.
The thing for me, what I don't understand about comic book art, like, I understand fine art because you taught that in school. Everyone knows fine art. And I understand, like, now Jack Kirby art just, like, blew up. I remember, 20 years ago when you could get, like, a Jack Kirby piece in the hundreds of dollars.
Craig,
but
there's a wrinkle in all this I don't think you might be fully aware of. The fine art industry is largely a scam for money laundering and other criminal activity.
Some of it is, but
investors,
most of it is.
A lot of it is, and investors are looking for other places to go, and comic art is just so happens to be the next kid on the block.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, so there's a certain level of popularity to pop art because it's way more famous than a lot of comic art. So when so right now
a lot of it's artificial fame though, created because of the amount of money that they're sold for.
But I just don't see comics like in another lifetime, another generation, when we're like, in our 60s or 70s or whatever it is, people aren't going to be as into comics or know these names and appreciate this. Are the sales of this going to plummet? I mean, how do they?
Like I said,
how does this art sustain?
It's artificially inflated in value. The price will sustain because the pyramid scheme it's part of will need to be maintained.
Yeah, what Jim's sort of implying is that the value is whatever they say the value is. So
I get it, but at what point do they move on to the next thing? Because
there you go.
Just like I don't know. I feel like part of it too, though, is also that people our age now and older that grew up with comics are even older than us have the money now too. That also pushes the market. All the people that grew up in the 90s are now in their 40s and 50s and have the extra money to spend on art so it's not all. I mean, and I'm not talking about the stuff that's $50,000. There's people, Joe Schmoes like me, that are spending thousands of dollars.
In the news item itself is the explanation to this. The guy just bought it, and it's already for sale.
Right.
That's the scam.
No, I get that. I guess I should be talking more about like the lower cost stuff. Like even buying just like I said, I could buy a Kirby for $300 back in the day, and I could still afford, if I really wanted to spend the money, I could get like a crap Kirby.
Well, back in the day, Kirby was still alive
and drop a lot. No, I'm even talking about 20 years ago. But anyway,
there's another element to this though, and there is also potentially just the pure speculator, like a return on an investment,
right?
Because not to be grim, but there are not many significant names for Spider-Man artists that are alive currently that are like producing work. You got like McFarlane and Larson are like Spider-Man names. On top of that, Eric lost a lot of the Spider-Man art in the house fire. And so
so there's not a lot available.
Right. The scarcity is right there. And it's
kind of like how recent Savage Dragon issue prices have jumped.
Right.
Because there is a scarcity of them because they're low print runs.
Right. Whether anyone actually ever cares in the future, who knows, or does it even matter at this point? Because right now is when it matters.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The collector that passes this on, is this stuff going to hold its value once the comic market dies down and the people that were into this
typically it doesn't
have moved on.
Like the classic Nintendo games had that, where they were all sky high and then they all just drop down because just nobody cares anymore.
Well, you say that.
I know the story you're talking about. The Mario.
Yeah, the sealed Mario Kart that went for 6 digits, I think.
Right, yeah. Well, obviously there's exceptions, but I'm saying that, for the most part, you're not going to find somebody that wants to buy Little Samson for, fucking, $7,000 anymore. You know what I mean? No one gives a shit. That is gone, is what I'm saying.
I'm looking for Samson.
I'm pretty sure Little Samson still goes for, $600.
Whatever. You see what I'm saying, but you're just trying to be...
I'm just saying, I think your data might be wrong.
All right, why don't you buy?
Check your facts.
Why don't you buy a Spider-Man splash page for $75,000 then, big spender?
You posted that Kickmaster game a couple weeks ago. Some random obscure late gen Super Nintendo game. I did the research. $200 for that game.
Right.
Loose. Not even in a box.
Right, but I'm saying that same game probably would have gone for $600 5 years ago.
I actually don't think that's the case. I'm pretty sure stuff's still trending upwards, especially on the obscure.
Damn, just shitting all over your theories.
Wow, what a dick!
I'm just
check your data, Raven.
What I'm saying though is that there is a interest for people who buy these things to keep the market growing. Yes, it's a bubble, but the bubbles haven't burst yet.
Right. And all Craig is saying is, like, when does the bubble burst? And I'm just adding to that it does eventually burst. Like, Beanie Babies don't have value if no one gives a shit about Beanie Babies. Even though,
I mean, there's some stuff that transcends, like a Van Gogh or something that's just, it's classical, or it's, I don't know. I'm just wondering if comics will at some point just kind of fade away and the value will plummet, or if they'll always, it'll turn into some kind of classical type art where it'll always be valued.
well, where Spider-Man is a good investment in that sort of, like, in that way, where Spider-Man's a good investment is that here is clearly a piece of art that was made in 1990, and even fucking Marvel reused it in 2018.
Right.
So, I mean, this is a character that is owned by goddamn Disney that'll change the law to maintain their copyright if they need to. So it's kind of a good bet that Spider-Man will hold his value.
Yeah.
It's not just Eric in this equation. This is a pinup of Spider-Man by a prominent Spider-Man artist.
Who doesn't make more Spider-Man art?
Right, who's never going to make more Spider-Man art. Like, he's just like, meh. So,
Unless he goes back like he did last year.
All right.
oh yeah, that's right.
Check your facts. Check your facts. With that, I think we should get into the next bit.
I would be
do you guys say?
FINterested if you would move on.
All right, so we're going to get into our FINteresting conversations bit. This is where we come up with a topic, or we use one of you listeners' topics to just have a nice little discussion and think things through. You know, something surrounding or pertaining to Savage Dragon. And for last regular episode, our FINteresting conversation dealt with the recent news of Spawn, and we asked, in light of the news that Spawn will now have 3 new ongoing series, so that there's a new Spawn, new issue of Spawn every single week of the year, if you had your say, what 3 Savage Dragon companion titles would you introduce to fill every week of the year with Savage Dragon? And so we had a great discussion, and then we got some good reader input, and we're going to go ahead and dive into that right now. So why don't you kick us off, Jim?
All right, we got What Up, Finheads? Taking after Todd's Year of Spawn proclamation, the Year of the Savage Dragon. Wait a minute. Year of the Savage Dragon, I mean Savage Dragon. I think there was a... Sorry, I'm tripping. Sorry, listener. There's a... Seems like they were making a joke, but I don't see what the joke was.
He's taking out the like Eric took out the.
Okay. Anyway.
He just shit on your joke.
Let's start over. Taking after Todd's Year of Spawn proclamation, the Year of the Savage Dragon, I mean Savage Dragon, sounds like a plan. Ant was on my list, and it looks like that is one on the way, which is great news. 3 spin-offs I'd like to see. God Squad, with art by Scioli or Art Adams, would be great to get a refresher on Larson's pantheon of gods, demigods, and wannabe gods. William and Rita, hey, if WandaVision can be a hit, why can't the exploits of a depowered suburban couple living in the Larsonverse work? Here's a quick plot. William borrows Greta Gearbox and unwittingly reactivates her sex doll programming, bringing his marriage to the brink. Or it just ends up spicing up his and Rita's sex life.
Very good.
The Vicious Circle. It would be interesting to see if a villainous organization could make a good team comic book. The closest thing I can think of as a comic like this is Suicide Squad from DC and Thunderbolts from Marvel. However, the VC is much larger than a hired team. It is more along the lines of the Legion of Doom, Serpent Society, or numerous super criminal organizations. I think this idea speaks of my interest in getting deeper into the VC and its lore and legends. Maybe have a character infiltrate the VC who has ties to Malcolm and or the Chicago PD, following them to Canada and getting in on the ground level of their relocation and reformation there. The latest cast was awesome. Keep on keeping on, Tony M.
I say those are really good suggestions.
The Vicious Circle idea is pretty interesting, if only because villain books are interesting, but they're also very hard to do. I'm trying to think. There are other examples, not a lot, Suicide Squad is a good example, but Suicide Squad has the hook where the villains are basically being forced to do what they're told, so they do heroics only by proxy.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts, generally the Thunderbolts are faking being heroes, and several members maybe trying to reform, some not, so you get that kind of inter team conflict. Then you get stuff like Secret Society of Supervillains, which I haven't actually read. I'm not really sure what the hook on there is, but it seems like it has a main superhero character as like the actual POV character. Then there's stuff like there's Marvel's Supervillain Team Up, which was all over the place because it changed creative teams like every issue.
Right. I'm glad you brought up all this, because the thing I wanted to say, and you brought it up, so it's perfect, is that I feel like the genius thing about a VC book that focuses on villains is that a lot of the North American comic villain books have featured in some way an excuse to have the main characters do heroics, whether they're forced to do it to maintain cover, right, or whether they accidentally do it, like in the case of the Joker's solo book. Like, oops, the Joker saved the day. And how many times can you keep that going, right? But it's like, what would be cool is to see a comic where it's not about, you don't have a hero. You have a protagonist, Right. It's just, he's not good. It's like Scarface. Scarface is not good. He's just the guy you're fucking basing the story around.
I think the best modern example of something like this would be like Mark Miller's Wanted.
Excellent example.
But in that case, the villains have already won, and it's more of like the inner personal play of that post-hero lifestyle.
Dude, there's all kinds you could do, like power struggles.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be hard. I mean, one of the greatest TV shows of all times was The Sopranos. Yeah. So basically, it's a mob.
Yeah.
You can make that in comics. You can have backstories of what's going on, like you said, in their personal lives too, or things like that. I think it would be super interesting.
And the cool thing is Eric's already established that the VC goes on and has family and has children and stuff. So it's like right now in Better Call Saul, one of the biggest plot points in Better Call Saul is people who are in deep but want out so that they can have a life, and people are hooked. Better Call Saul is like one of the hottest shows on TV, and so it's like, dude, you got a fucking Skullface type character who he's got a son, and he's like, God damn, I gotta get out of this vicious circle, dude. I just want my son to have a good life. I gotta get out of here, but he can't because he's like a fucking murderer, for a living. It could be,
or he's a freak and no one hires him.
Right? It could be so awesome.
Yeah.
These were all great, though. We've been going on about the VC thing. The William and Rita thing was fucking hilarious. That's a good suggestion. The God Squad thing. These were solid as hell, dude.
Yeah. All right, shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
No.
All right.
No podcast.
I'm going to anyway. All right, we'll talk a little bit longer about this letter. Hey guys, expanding the Savage Dragon universe into 4 monthly books sounds like a great idea to me, and I'd be all over it. With that being said, here are the books I would like to see and buy as a fan. Super Patriot, a no-brainer. I like Jim's pick of Daniel Warren Johnson on creative duties. Dave Johnson on covers would be the cherry on top, in my opinion. Next, The Dragon. Paul and Alex spun off into their own book. This would give us more time with them, but not at the expense of Malcolm and company. You could make this book heavier on the world action adventure, so it was different from the main book's more domestic setting. And as an added bonus, it gives us something similar to the character dynamic we had in the cartoon series. Eric would have to write this one and maybe even do layouts.
That one. Keep going.
Image All-Stars, Savage Dragon, Spawn, Witchblade, Invincible, Shadowhawk. A Kirkman-Otley joint spanning the entire Image universe past and present comes with our highest recommendation. And finally, Killcat and Kid Avenger, wacky, brightly colored superhero backup strips by God Hates Astronauts Ryan Brown, featured in every book. Looking forward to the next FINcast. Be good. J-Ro. P.S. Raven just caught up on the latest dojo issues. You are a cartooning beast. P.P.S. Scott James, if you're listening, what happened to Juice Man?
Well, to answer that last one, I'm pretty sure Juice Man is updated regularly still.
Yeah, it's still
But
rolling
it's on was it Taco?
Webtoons.
Tapas.
Tapas?
Tapas.
Yes.
Tapas.
Webtoons too, right?
I'm not sure about Webtoons.
And he's got issue 1 and 2 hard copies available.
So still out there, still cranking out the juice. I think.
And that Raven is a cartooning beast.
Yep.
Thank you, Jero. I appreciate it, man. I really do. I mean it. Thank you. Those are also killer suggestions. I would read a book about Paul and Alex.
Yeah, definitely.
Give me that shit.
Image All-Stars. I love those issues that Eric did.
Let me ask you, before we move on to Image All-Stars, who he says, Jero suggests that Eric write and do layouts, which I totally agree. Who then would you two put on art chores?
For the dragon, huh? I don't know. Could it be anybody or it's
Yeah,
someone
it's
that would
not.
work?
Nothing's jumping up at me.
Anyone you want.
Well,
Like dead, alive, whatever.
Jack Kirby.
Perfect.
Gil Kane.
I mean, okay, let's be realistic. Alive. Like, what living
All
talent?
right, someone that just died within the past couple years.
Like, what living... Like, I would put, like, one of our, like, dragon regulars.
Jim Lee.
Like Andy Kuhn.
Yeah,
that would work
Andy
for me.
Kuhn would be a good pick, yeah. And, yeah.
Or, I mean, shit, Ryan Otley, like, whatever.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to think who would be a good fit is all, but it's nothing's coming to me.
Well, let it cook. Craig, you were talking about Image All-Stars. Who are you guys putting on that? Oh, wait, Kirkman Otley. Never
Yeah, it's
mind.
Kirkman Otley joint.
Jared's got it. I like it.
I'm
It's
sure.
okay. Yep, I agree. It's good. Wait, it says Killcat and Kid Avenger has got backups by Ryan Brown. Who's doing the main book?
There's no main book. I think the idea is that the Kill Cat and Kid Avenger comics appear in all three of these other books.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's a great cheat.
Yes, it is.
Because he's basically, if there's Killcat and Kid Avenger every week, you're getting 3 weeks of a month of Killcat and Kid Avenger. What a cheat! I like it though.
Yeah, that's good.
Goddamn good ones, dude. Thank you, Jero, for writing. I guess finally. Dear FINcast compadres, aka Savage FINcast Squad. Hey guys, so as to redeem myself in the eyes of Jim, I hereby declare that Glum is my all-time favorite Savage Dragon villain. For one thing, he reminds me of my parasitic twin that I had removed. Similar to what we see with Torment's head. Just kidding. I was just a pimple that needed popping. Seriously, though.
I think it was.
Yeah, we read them how we get them. No. Seriously, though, Glum literally achieved world domination and the merging of multiple worlds. It doesn't get any bigger than that. All this from the polar opposite of a physically imposing alpha male apex predator. Another motivating factor would be the humor attached to this character, something we don't see with, say, Mako or Dart. So, what say you, Jim? Yay, nay, or yay?
As long as you picked one, that's all I care about.
Oh, man.
You did it. Gentlemen, as for the companion books to Savage Dragon, I echo all your suggestions and would include the Deadly Duo as well as Ant, a book that Eric is finally releasing. A minor correction for my main man Craig, who said Malcolm was 6'6". I'm pretty sure he's 6'4". For the record, I'm 6'7", 300 pounds.
Holy shit.
Yeah, goddamn brute. I'll never do a funny voice ever again. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna like meet Satirus in public and he's just gonna fucking like smash my face on accident.
Fucking Zeke. I'm just gonna call him Zeke.
Yeah, dude, Zeke Jr. All right. Sadly, unlike Malcolm, my zucchini isn't big enough to warrant its own zip code. Lastly, getting personal, I like it. Lastly, one of my favorite artists is Norm Brayfogle, rest in peace, who Craig and I would love to see Erik imitate in an experimental issue, once opined that while he liked Judge Dredd, his lack of a personal life made him two-dimensional. Question for Jim. Did this ever detract from your enjoyment of the character? Would you ever see him as a family man like Malcolm? Also, as you said you like action figures, it's worth pointing out that back in 2007, Dredd and Dragon, along with 4 other figures and their assorted extra parts, would be collected to form Dale Keown's Pit, as part of the legendary comic book heroes line. As always, Raven's soothing V for Vendetta voice is the ASMR gold standard. Honorable mention for that spot-on McFarlane impression. Sincerely, Soteris Graphus. P.S. I changed my mind at start. Kidding, maybe.
Good choice. Well, to just answer your questions real quick. Yes, I knew about the Dredd and Dragon with the legendary comic book heroes line. That is effectively the closest we've ever come to an actual Dredd Dragon crossover. The thing about Dredd, I think a lot of people who don't read Dredd don't understand is Dredd is not a two-dimensional character. Dredd has actually got a lot of depth.
Right.
It's just that he doesn't need a family life to have it. He's not allowed to have a family life. That's like part of the whole deal of being a judge, is you dedicate your entire life to this job. Dredd's whole dealie is that he is the one... How do I explain this? He is the ideal judge, whereas he lives in a world where there are no perfect people. And even Dredd has his limits. He's not himself perfect, but he's as good as the ideal can be. But everyone around him fails to live up to, because he sets the example that no one else could follow. Oh,
Judge Dredd is that good coworker that everyone hates.
But he's not. But he's also an asshole. But the thing about Judge Dredd is he's fair. Judge Dredd, the character himself, he is a true neutral because he judges everyone equally. Period. He doesn't play favorites in any regard.
Does Judge Dredd bone?
Oh no, yeah, the celibacy is very important. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you're telling me that hot blonde from the Judge Dredd movie, no boning?
Absolutely not.
God damn,
that's a crime. If you're a Psy like Anderson, you get lobotomized. If you're a judge like Dredd, you get sent to Titan. Get your freaking nose implanted so you can breathe in the atmosphere, and your mind rocks for the rest of your life.
For having sex?
Absolutely.
God damn.
It's a harsh world.
That Dredd movie, though, she was that guy was having sex with her in her mind. She got to see that. She got to enjoy that for a little bit.
Well, yeah, what's the laws on mind sex?
If it's for the law.
That movie is actually, I think it's on Amazon now or Netflix. I can't remember. It was on. I just noticed it was back, like, available. I watched it again. I like that movie.
But I like Dredd for the same reason I like Dragon. They're both action heroes who are authority figures. They're leaders. And they are... Dragon's funny, but Dredd's funny too, but in a different way. Dredd knows how to they make similar kind of jokes, Dragon and Dredd, because they're both very darkly humorous. It's just that Dredd doesn't laugh. Dredd isn't funny.
Is Dredd like a Clint Eastwood type in like a spaghetti western?
Pretty much, he's out of that mold, yes. But even then, he's almost 40 years old now as a character, and he's evolved a lot since his early days. In his early days, yes, he was basically just a cop on a bike and didn't have a lot of depth. But over the years, it's more that his world has become a lot more complicated, and Dredd himself has not really evolved along with it, or at least he's evolved on a different trajectory than the world that he inhabits.
I can honestly say I've never read a Judge Dredd.
See, it's hard to explain to people who only see the surface of Judge Dredd or only see the movies of Judge Dredd, because the movies don't have enough time to go into this.
Right.
But Dredd is like Dragon in that he is ruthless. But he is,
I
but
should
he
just
is, but
try
he is
to read
not
some
evil.
just to say I have.
Let me just say that as a Savage Dragon fan, like, I've quit judging shit that I haven't read. So, like, if I've not read any Savage or any Judge Dredd, but, like, I refuse to be like, nah, it's probably not good, or nah, I'm not going to
I
hand wave
spent
it.
most of the 90s thinking Dredd was like this weird, like, super 90s heavy metal, grim, gritty, like, no humor, only to discover, oh my god, this is some of the most creative, funny, insane sci-fi comics on the planet. It's just, these comics are wild in the way that Savage Dragon is wild. Crazy characters, insane villains, just a world on the brink of insanity. Because that's the whole thing is, Dredd lives in a post-apocalyptic nightmare. The reason why judges have to be so brutal is because if they're not, the world ends. Because if you just let people commit crimes and be selfish, the world will end. Everyone will die. And so the judges exist to keep that balance so that the humanity can survive. Sorry, I went on my Dredd tangent. Rejudge Dredd.
Dreadcast.
You got the little soapbox.
No, I mean, Sotiris asked him Judge Dredd questions, so that's fair.
But no, to answer your question, you will never... Well, actually, it's crazy because Dredd is not a family man, but Dredd has family. He's got a niece. He's got clone brothers. He had to kill his own brother once.
Clone brothers.
Oh, see, Dredd is a clone, and he had a clone brother, and his clone brother went bad, and so Dredd had to kill him.
Metal Gear.
Basically, yes, but in the early 80s.
Oh, pre-Metal Gear.
Very pre-Metal Gear.
Metal Gear's a
and
ripoff.
in the present, he has further clones that essentially act as like his siblings. One is a judge like him, but one rejected the judge life and became a civilian, which was a big like scandal.
Civilian Dredd?
Oh yeah,
with the chin and everything?
Yep.
Unbelievable. That is weird, though. That's like, what if Bruce Wayne was just a guy, just
But
a rich guy?
his clone brother had a daughter, and that's his niece.
Does Dredd take his helmet off in the
Dredd never
in the comic?
Well, he does take his helmet off, but we never see his face. That's one of the.
But do you see his civilian brother's face then?
No,
That's a clone.
He got a face change for security reasons.
Okay, I was going to say.
Face change technology is very common in the future of Mega City 1.
I was going to say, though, that would be the most rip-off way to show Judge Dredd's face is,
right.
Oh, his clone twin brother decided not to be a cop, and so he takes his helmet off, and there it is. It's like, God damn it.
Yep.
What a cheat. No, that's actually all fascinating, dude. I regret anything that I'm to the point now where anything that I haven't read, it's purely money. If I had money, I would get like balls deep in that Judge Dredd shit. It sounds
There's a lot of it. One of the best parts about getting into it is
deep.
When I got into Savage Dragon, I had over almost 10 years worth of stuff to get into. When I got into Judge Dredd, it was nearly 30. I love sinking my teeth into thick franchises with long histories. It's why I love Dredd. It's why I love Dragon. It's why I love the Legion of Superheroes.
This is not related to any of that, so I apologize. But I have a day job, and I now have a regular customer that talks like Todd McFarlane. And
oh, no.
It is awful, dude. It is so hard to, like... when he
not mimic him.
Yeah, dude. When he comes in and he's talking, and I mean, it
Marty.
is like it's blow for blow. He sounds just like him, dude. How you doing today? It's just beautiful. I can't believe this weather we're having. I'm like, oh my god, you fucking talk about your toys.
How can you not hear yourself?
It's nuts, dude. Yeah, it's nuts. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what? And Todd's Canadian, and this guy's not. He's from fucking America, but sounds just straight up like Todd McFarlane. Like, goddamn, it's wild, dude. All right, that's the whole story. Is that I now regularly interact with a guy that sounds like Todd McFarlane, and it blows my fucking mind. And he's a dickhead, so I can never be his friend and tell him about it. So, like, I have to interact regularly with, like, a dickhead version of Todd McFarlane. It's nuts. All right, that's it. Story over.
Maybe Todd McFarlane's a dickhead version of him.
Maybe.
Maybe. moving on to the new FINteresting conversation topic.
All right. So
wait a minute. I'm sorry. Thank you, everybody. Tony Satiris, Jero. Thank you. Those were fucking awesome letters. Okay, now go.
So last FINcast we talked about Spawn. We're gonna switch gears on this FINcast and talk about Invincible. As we all pretty much know, or anyone that reads comics these days know, Invincible has a new show. Robert Kirkman's Invincible has a new animated show on Amazon Prime, which is kind of the talk of the town in this recent couple of weeks. In light of that, and the success that's having, if you were going to do something with Savage Dragon, you're Eric Larson and you get a major studio or streaming platform that wants to take the Savage Dragon property and make a film or a show, how would you go about it if you were given reins? So you're given reins to do an animated show. What kind of format? Movie, a weekly series. What kind of art style? Is it mature, all ages? Even if you want to go into what kind of story you would use. You fellas have anything you want to add to this?
Pretty well. The main thing, you want to be just broad strokes about it, is like, what is your approach? You're given the budget to do what you want, so budget's not a limit. You just basically okay, a Savage Dragon animated, something's going to be made, but what are you choosing to do with it? And like Craig said, get into that nitty gritty. If it's a TV show, tell us, is it grim? Tell us, is it lighthearted in all ages? What's up? Just you're calling the shots.
And write into us at savagefincast@gmail.com. We're going to go through our responses right now. And then we want you guys to write in and let us know how you tackle it. So why don't you take it away, Jim? I know you said you had something up your sleeve.
Well, my idea is kind of like a cheat. I want to see a Savage Dragon anime.
Ooh.
I want to see a Japanese company license Dragon and then adapt it in a big Ghost in the Shell style action series.
That would rule. We get a little glimpse of that in the old series, remember? The opening credits.
Well, to clarify, do you mean a TV series typically they do 26 to 50 episodes for a season?
Yeah,
okay.
In a lot of shows they only go for 26 episodes and then it's over. It's not like in the US where they just keep making more.
Right.
A lot only lasts one season. Generally there might be a season 2, but generally you don't go many more than unless it's adapting an ongoing comics manga series, which to be fair, I guess Dragon sort of qualifies as that goes on forever. But I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a Witchblade anime series way back in the early 2000s of all things.
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
It wasn't very good, but
it had a milfy Witchblade. That's pretty good.
Yeah. But I've always thought that if you wanted to see Dragon animated, have Japan do it. I think it would be wild.
So to get
have Studio Bones do it. Studio Bones is one of the better animation studios right now.
Nice, yeah, very nice pick.
Or Madhouse.
Oh, very nice pick.
Although Madhouse isn't quite as good as they used to be. They used to be the gold standard, but they've fallen a bit. But they're still pretty good.
Question: you didn't touch on it. On your series, is it going to be mature or is it going to be
yeah, that's the other part. Blood and guts all day long.
Okay.
Decapitations, fists through chests, all this classic Dragon stuff.
Sexual situations.
Not
with anime, you could.
Yeah.
Jim, are you starting at the beginning? Or are you going to do a snapshot? You taking it to the Malcolm era? What's your time frame?
Well, see, here's the thing. I think the other reason I want to go anime is that you can also kind of reimagine. You can use that as a way to reimagine Dragon almost entirely, not radically so, but enough that you don't necessarily have to start at any one point. Nice. It kind of can be its own thing that is similar, but its own thing. I would say it'd probably end up featuring Dragon, Dragon, not Malcolm. and probably have some of the bones of the basic premise of like he's a cop and he's in Chicago or he's in a city and he's got, you know, his entourage, and maybe you do stuff with Freak Force and the other, and of course he fights the Vicious Circle, but you don't necessarily have to adapt it. You can kind of go your own direction and still get to like the main visual the feel for it, instead of straight adapting it. Just go for the tone.
Yeah, like Witchblade. Like Witchblade was a great example because they nobody would say that wasn't Witchblade-esque, but also too nobody would say that wasn't its own thing. Very cool. Do you want me to go next, Craig?
Yes, go.
Or do you need some time?
I don't need time, but you go for it.
Mine's easy. I am not doing an animated series. My approach would be to do a anthology movie, Enter the Matrix style, where you basically have shorts like vignettes, 5-10 minutes, nothing long, right? And each different vignette could be as radically different in style and tone, again, as like Enter the Matrix was. So, because it's a feature film, we have budget here, right? So, we're going to hand this off to different animation type branches from the world. You're going to have your anime style short. You're going to have, your short, like CG, comedy, lighthearted, like just a funny short. You know, you're going to showcase the brutal, like bloody, blood and guts, dark nature of Dragon. But mainly the reason why I chose the anthology format is I'm like going to blow my wad on just a movie. Like I'm just going to pump it all into like a 1-hour production instead of trying to stretch it out and tell like a story, a narrative. And also, I think with an anthology, you could sort of focus on like a series like Savage Dragon's been going on so long that tonally it's varied in a way that a more concise work isn't. So like with Scott Pilgrim or Bone or, just these stories that are like more compact, they have generally like a singular tone. But with Savage Dragon, it's all over the map because it's been going on so long. You have the family era, the sex era. You have, grim and gritty 90s stuff. Like you have Jack Kirby style Savage World stuff. It's so all over the place. So my idea, my vision is to, in a single film with all these different flavors of vignettes, give like a person watching the film just a taste of like just how varied Savage Dragon, the overall series, could feel. You know what I mean? So that would be my only requirement, is that the vignettes just be different from each other. That's it. So
you know it would be awesome? Take that, right? And then you have the different vignettes, but one would be, all right, first one would just be the straight on Savage Dragon, right. His character's the focus. Next one, you make it Alex the focus and what it's like to be a human cop fighting, crazy superpower freaks.
Sure.
Another one, you could make it like Angel or something being the daughter of, Savage Dragon. One could be Vicious Circle member and how he's trying to survive and be in the Vicious Circle.
Absolutely.
And worry about getting fried by Overlord or something. But
yeah.
There's so many different ways you could take that, but that would be really fun.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And I was thinking that if nothing else too, that would give you a way to showcase like sort of the generational thing. Like when it starts, it could just be the dragon. And then like, maybe you can like see Malcolm as a kid at some point in like the middle of the vignettes. And then just end with a vignette where like Malcolm is the lead, however you do it. And basically just sort of showcase that like Savage Dragon is a series where time progresses. He has a kid, the kid is born, kid's born. Has no kid, has a kid grows up, kid becomes the lead. So, like, again, the idea would be to sort of get that feeling that you get reading Savage Dragon for a long time and just cram it into a movie, baby. And that's my idea.
So, my idea is kind of bland. In a perfect world, I would love yours, Raven. I don't know if it would work well with new audiences. Like someone that's a Savage Dragon reader for me, that would be my preferred thing. If I was to take it and I'd want it to appeal to kind of a mass audience, I think that what they did with Invincible is the way to go. I agree with Jim that I would love like a Japanese studio. It just seems like they do the blood and guts and action the best, you know, better than, you know, say like a Bruce Timm style or something like that. But yeah, a weekly or something where they just dumped, you know, a season all at once. Just a violent, you know, just taking that first year of Savage Dragon in a way, you know, like guy gets dumped down, loses his girlfriend in a violent way, you know, goes on a bender. All that stuff in the first few years of Savage Dragon crammed into the series, I think would be interesting. Just hyper violent. Could be sexual, which would be cool. Just gritty. But yet Savage Dragon's also kind of a jokester and a wise ass, you know, like he typically is. So yeah, nothing that special.
No. That's perfectly valid. Nobody should feel like their approach is not valid because it's just your opinion. Like it's what you want. So if that's what you want, that'd be great. Let me ask you, the new Invincible series, the art direction, you can say, is definitely Cory Walker like inspired for sure.
Right.
In your vision, would you want the animation to try to emulate Erik's art?
I don't think it has to. I think I agree with Jim. Like I think something from like a, you know, an animation studio in Japan, like something like that, like someone that can just do hyper violence and make it look good and still, I mean, Dragon's got to look on model, you know, he's got to be like heavy up top, skinny legs. Like it can't be too off. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely got to be like within all the models, but not like, I think perfect is like I said, the opening to like the Savage Dragon cartoon from the 90s. Mm-hmm. You know, something a little better than that, but it's on model. You know, it's definitely not Erik's art, but close enough, I feel like.
Okay, that's fair. So, like, just like a more high-budget version of, like, the original animated series.
Just the opening of the animated series,
right.
Like that first, like, whatever, minute, which is really a lot higher quality than the rest of the show, if listeners have seen it, they know what I'm talking about.
No, dude, that's totally fair. I think a streaming series, if you want to talk about like what would probably be better or like best for Dragon, like you're absolutely right. Like an all-at-once streaming series just dumped, like goddamn, that would be like huge, you know, for getting fans to Savage Dragon. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Fantastic, man. All different ideas and all fun, and like I can't wait to hear what the listeners come up with, because I'm sure there's some shit we haven't even thought of, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So shall we get into it? We're about an hour and 15 into the episode, and we need to feast.
Remember when we didn't have letters? That was like and then we asked for them, and like now we get them, and it's great. I love it. I'm just saying, it's cool. But yeah, dude, I think we need some meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes.
So, as I said at the time, this is probably my favorite Savage Dragon cover.
Yeah, man. What a fucking awesome cover. Can I ask you guys a question? Not to spoil anything, but was that KFC bucket logo always on the cover?
I think so.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize what it was, right?
Foreshadowing.
Right. And does that license plate said Hind Dog? Now this is a great...
What is that?
Right? Hind Dog, right? Now this is a great cover, is it not?
Yeah, it reminds me of The Professional.
Yeah, I get that.
Not...
I don't know if it's because of what she's wearing.
Not Urban Cowboy?
No, I guess. I mean, for me, Professional, just because...
Oh, it looks professional.
No, Leon the Professional.
Leon the Professional.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know.
I get that.
Mainly because what
I
Amy's
don't know
wearing, I
Leon
guess.
the Professional.
You don't know Jean Reno's classic masterpiece?
Oh, is that what all the references to Jean Reno is? Is Leon the Professional?
Yeah.
See, I know the director.
That's the original hitman and little girl trope. That's where it originated.
Oh, I thought it was Matilda.
Are you funning?
Yeah,
Are you funning
a little bit.
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of Amelie?
Amelie.
No.
It's the original hitman
The
movie.
girl on The Professional is Matilda.
Oh, really?
What is Jim talking
I don't know.
about, Raven? I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm very like confused. Listen, this is a great ass cover, and what's even more awesome. Remember the big speculation we had? What would happen? In my opinion, the very best thing happened when Malcolm got hit with Thor's lightning.
Oh, yeah. What you're saying is what will happen next issue when we were talking about last issue. Like, my prediction was it was going to be this was going to be all Walter and Amy, and that we wouldn't get back to this for an entire issue. I was wrong.
Yeah, baby, picked it right up with the Super Malcolm.
Just absorb the shit out of that.
I love it, dude.
That splash is awesome. The blue colors, just the Kirby dots and the frying.
I love it, dude. Just fucking energy just pouring off of him, like electricity just like fucking coming out of his like whole body. Oh, it's so good, dude. Best outcome. If Malcolm had been overwhelmed by Thor's lightning, I would have been truly disappointed.
Right.
I think it's fucking great, dude, that he absorbed it and became like super Malcolm.
And North Force is just watching on like, holy shit.
It's timely, but I think that this opens the window for Malcolm to fall in battle only to be revived by a lightning strike Godzilla style. You know what I mean? You know how Godzilla just like get defeated and then just lightning would strike him and he'd get back up?
Right.
You think that's what will happen?
No, I'm just saying the door is open now. Before we didn't know. Now we know. If lightning strikes...
We didn't know he could absorb so much energy like that.
Right. If lightning strikes Malcolm, he can get back up. No, I fucking love it, dude. I love the pose like of him like punching Thor, and he's like, he looks all effortless. He's like the one where he's like, and I got out of the way. You killed your own son. Like, it just sort of looks like he's just sort of like...
Ram.
Just real easy, you know?
Yeah, and the Canadian went from thinking that this guy's just some reality TV star to seeing what he does to Thor, a guy that just pretty much leveled the whole team beforehand.
Yeah, it was a great sort of like, who's a celebrity hero now, you putz.
I love the splash where like basically Malcolm's standing in that crater from that like lightning explosion.
It's awesome, dude.
All the trees that just knocked over. Pretty cool.
Mickey's fucking blood, like just like...
Yeah, or against the white snow.
Question for you guys. Has anybody physically manhandled Thor like this previously?
Dragon beat his ass when he got his hands on his hammer.
Yeah.
But then it kind of like turned on Dragon, so he didn't really get to finish the job.
But this is like kind of the first time we've seen Thor just get like the shit punched out of him.
Yeah, but only because Malcolm could absorb the lightning.
Still, though, I'm just saying it's kind of fucking awesome because it's like, here's a guy, like Thor's got this fucking vendetta anyway. He before he had a stupid vendetta, right? Like I'm gonna kill your son for blinding me, you know? And now like he has a legit reason to fucking hate Malcolm's guts, but Malcolm is like the fucking anti-Thor. Like he could fucking like Thor can't do shit physically against Malcolm. He can't use his lightning powers. So you got to think Thor's going to have this vendetta. Like what I'm saying is, are we going to see a tactical Thor attack down the road, which is totally not his style?
Yeah, I can't see him being tactical. If anything, he'll employ some assistance.
That sounds real likely. I'm just saying it's kind of like, man, it puts Thor. This is what's cool. It puts Thor in a weird place that I don't think he's been in all these years. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like physically, he can't really match Malcolm. You know what I mean?
Right.
And a little, like, what's cool is, you mentioned the belt getting cut off. I like it just laying there, like, cut in half.
Oh, and the previous issue when we talked on the last FINcast, we were talking about how Thor has that T belt, right? That gives him like a power, right? Isn't that how?
Yeah,
doubles his strength.
Doubles his strength, yes, and he has the glove.
The gauntlet lets him hold the hammer.
Right.
And the belt gives him strength. Is that what it is?
Correct.
And was it the knight that sliced his belt off?
Yeah.
And it was kind of like not really super noticeable.
Yeah, it wasn't so pronounced than last time, but like there you see it like at his feet. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that comes into play too, and I think if you're kind of not paying much attention, that's a detail that's lost. Because no one kind of said it in a dialogue or anything like that, or pointed it out.
No, Malcolm specifically tells.
Does he? I'm an idiot.
Yeah, last issue, Malcolm specifically tells.
All right, I forgot.
The Canadian
to go for the belt.
To go for that he's not all powerful. His power comes from his belt and his gloves. So go for the belt. That's why the knight went for the belt.
Yeah, he has a good line where he's like, "Do your homework."
I guess I should do my homework.
Do your homework, Craig.
Yeah, Malcolm is the one who comes into this fight thinking tactically.
Yeah, it is funny. North Force was just trying to overpower Thor. It's like, yeah, right.
To be fair, they've never fought him before, right? So,
but they should do their homework.
They don't know.
Yeah, they're not very good superheroes if they're not like taking Malcolm's advice. I mean, reading Malcolm's comic book to find out.
Yeah, Malcolm just turns and goes, "You guys don't read my comic? Oh.
Idiots."
Find out all the secrets to all my arch enemies.
Right. I love the coloring. I gotta say, this splash page with Malcolm in the middle of the crater, the coloring is fantastic. Like just the debris everywhere, kind of how it looks, and like just the texture in the snow. Ah, it's so good, dude.
Can I ask you something? So for the listeners, we have a digital copy. I don't know if this is going to see print, but in the one panel, the panel where we're flashing to the apartment, says we don't need police protection. Raisin Bran?
Oh, Raisin Bran.
Like, did he spell raisin?
Yeah, it looks like he spelled raisin wrong.
I bet it's fixed by the time it gets to print. Usually that stuff's caught.
Yeah.
It did mess with my mind, though, because when I read that, I read Raisin Brain.
That's what I did, too.
I was like, Raisin Brain? That's like the meanest I've ever heard Maxine be. Fucking Raisin Brain.
I love the panel where the kids are just like pushing and jumping over each other to get back into their rooms or the house because they've been away for a while.
Mm-hmm. It's cool though. I really like this moment. Like, again, talk about like it's not overly like heavy-handed storytelling, but like Maxine's just being Maxine. And like Malcolm's like looking at the kids playing. He's even talking about the kids, right? He's like, "We're home safe and sound. The kids can go back to TV shows and video games and stuffed animals." And she's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Thor's son died." And he's like, "It wasn't pretty." And it's kind of like you see Malcolm kill a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like we joke he's the accidental murderer, but it's kind of funny because the whole battle he's like, you killed your son, and he kind of seemed flippant there in the moment, but it's like it's kind of cool, like little storytelling. Like he's looking at his own kids and he's thinking about fucking Mickey's dead. It's I don't know, it's kind of neat. It's a little extra side of Malcolm there.
I kind of read it so like Malcolm punches Thor and he says basically, okay, so Thor comes at Malcolm, and Malcolm says, "You tossed your hammer at me, and I got out of the way. You killed your own damn son. It was your own damn fault." So it's like, I kind of read that as Malcolm is like trying to justify it.
Oh, definitely that. Yeah,
Like he's actually blaming himself, but he's trying to push it onto Thor.
It's definitely that, or at least I agree with you. That's how I read it. Where like that whole, like all of his dialogue, yeah, that's absolutely how it felt to me too. Because he's like, you know, the whole time he's talking to him, he's like, Thor's like, you killed my son, and he's like, not even close. You know, you did, you threw the hammer, but like he's really like blaming him. And then you get to the apartment, and he's like kind of sullen, you know.
Yeah,
because I think deep down he knows what he did.
PTSD, Malcolm.
Well, even after Thor's kind of knocked out on the ground, he's still saying it was your own damn fault. Like he's still kind of like, you know, still scarred about it.
Yeah, I think it's cool because you know, Old Man Dragon, you know, you'd have those moments where he's like sitting in the chair and he's all in shadows and he's like, I'm losing it, Frank. You know? You know what I mean, right? And like, like Dragon kind of would like, he would feel the
all teary-eyed, shaky-eyed, or whatever.
Right. Well, he would like feel the weight of his adventures, and it's kind of cool, this little like moment here, because you kind of like, Malcolm seems like he's kind of like feeling the weight of like what just happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
I like it. I like it a lot. And then we get into
good old Walter.
We get into the wah, 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 ba-dee-boo-boo. Here comes Walter sleeping in the bed, resting his head.
Stinky ass tiger in her bed.
Tiger stank.
And then we quickly shoot over to Alex and Paul, which is hilarious. We're trying to watch Paul read a comic one-handed.
That's gotta be a massive pain in the ass.
Right. I just have to be truthful here. I don't like catching up on past events through the comic. I just don't like it.
No?
I love it. Dude.
I don't. I know you do. I don't like it.
It's kind of funny because you're throwing a bone here, though. Alex tells him, he's like, dude, it's not everything's in that comic, you know.
It's just so weird.
Remember, it's Malcolm's.
It's a little much for me.
It's Malcolm's suggestion. Like, you know, Malcolm's the one telling him. He's like, use these. It's funny, Malcolm, it fits his character.
It just won't go away, though.
There is this one slight inconsistency with the comics. Way back when the idea was first presented, you kind of got the idea that the Savage Dragon comic was like supposed to be like this corporate, overly like edited, kind of shitty comic. Not actually good, but every time we see it, it's drawn by Erik Larson, so you got to assume it's still good.
Well, not really. I mean, he even implied that, like, you know, remember the creative team? Even here, he's like, the guy who draws it, you know, he didn't know how your boobs looked. I just think that the meta humor's funny, dude. You didn't find it funny when Paul's like, you know, he made a couple educated guesses, and that's funny.
I didn't say that. I
think it would just be.
Not thrilled with the whole concept.
I just think it would be funnier if, like, every time we actually saw issues of the comic, the art just looks awful and like way off the mark from what Erik draws, like,
or completely different than what actually happened. I don't know. That issue 228 is probably one of the most explicit issues of Savage Dragon as well.
Can you remind me what happened? Like, because I remember that, and I was reading that, and I was like, wait a minute. I'll say
Maxine gets like blasted, and just, you know, whatever. I don't know if I want to go into it. It's just stuff everywhere. The walls are painted. Let's put it.
It was an epic action scene.
I think it's funny because, like, this is a continued, like, meta humor, like, riff on the Savage Dragon is porn now. Like, it's just Erik having fun with that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's showing Paul and Alex both being disgusted by the comic. That's funny, dude.
I love Paul's face on the one where it's like they didn't leave much to the imagination.
Boing.
Yeah.
Holy.
I gotta move my big comic right here. Oh, it's funny, dude. I like this sequence. I know the comic, like, bugs you guys, but I fucking love it. I think it's so funny.
It doesn't bug me. It's just I think there's a disconnect to what's described to us, and then when Erik just uses, like in this particular case, he just grabs the cover off 228 and just imposes it into the art.
Would you really rather he redrew the pages and stuff?
Well, I mean, you don't have to draw like all of it. I mean, I just think it would be funnier if the art just looked wrong. Like if it all looked like Liefeld was drawing it, or like something like that.
I think it's probably too much trouble.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is way easier.
Yeah, that's a pain in the ass. I mean, like redrawing like tiny pages is a huge pain in the ass.
It just reoccurs too much for me.
Oh, so it's your blood.
Let's. Yes, probably not as
passionate.
My quote unquote blood.
It's your blood is a funny way to put that.
It's my freak
Comes
out.
back way too often.
For the listeners, Jim hates the use of super blood. If you're a new listener, Jim hates the use of super blood.
You'll hear about it soon, don't worry.
You will hear about it, I assure you. Speaking of good faces, look how goddamn happy Walter is to be sleeping.
He likes the bed.
So funny, dude.
I do have to.
I love how Amy just tosses
Amy's bed must be huge though, which is odd for like a toddler.
No, I think he's just all curled up, like too big for it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, he's curled up. You've seen cats. My God. They can, like, they're liquids. They can squish into whatever.
I mean, he's obviously much bigger than that bed when she flings it.
Yeah. I just think he's just a big cat on a little bed, dude.
Big cat on a little bed.
Yeah. Good callback. Yeah, their dialogue is great. Amy and Walter's, like, back and forth is fucking great. What about Walter's shirt? Does anyone know what that is?
It's a cheetah.
Richmond Tigers or something.
Okay. Cool.
Also,
I think it's like a sports, like a high school thing or something.
it definitely is a sports.
I also like, if you notice, Walter is wearing Malcolm's clothes. And, like, you know, they said, like, Malcolm's clothes are, you know, huge. And if you look, the jacket is drawn baggy on Walter, is what's funny.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch. I'm just saying it's a nice little touch. Walter's goddamn irresponsible, though. He's trying to lure Amy out into adventures.
Yeah, it's honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. This whole setup is quite sinister to me.
Yeah,
It's
very.
It seems like he's baiting her out.
Right. That's a funny thing. Like, that's exactly where my headspace was. I was like, oh, man, I hope Walter doesn't turn out to be evil. Because this is kind of seems more, like, sinister than what you'd think, right?
Yeah. Don't tell your parents. Adventure awaits.
Yeah, exactly. Don't ask your parents. They'll just say no. Let's go have fun. It seems like...
Like the whole thing, like my first suspicion got raised when she tells him that he's covered in fur and he has a coat. And then he puts his hand up against the window and says, "Huh, would you look at that? That is so weird." It's like he knew goddamn well that he was, you know... Of course, it's... Also, just because he has fur and is wearing clothing doesn't mean that he can live outside in the cold. That's just irresponsible pet ownership.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're cold, they're cold.
Yeah.
Bring them inside.
Plus, last time I checked, tigers live in pretty warm climates.
Very true.
Very true, yeah. Yeah, man, so I agree with you. What about you, Craig? Like, where was your headspace? Like, as you were reading Walter, like, you know, trying to lure Amy out into the cold at night, were you thinking this is all on the up and up, or...
I never thought that he was a villain or like was going to do something bad. I thought, you know, I'm just thinking that they're going to get in trouble.
I kept thinking he was going to just reach over and decapitate her.
Yeah, I
Drink
swear.
her blood.
Yeah, I thought something bad was going to happen. Or I thought he was luring her.
I can see that, but I didn't feel it.
I thought he was luring her to more Animal Man. Or something fucked up.
Yeah, to tear her apart or like...
Now I've got you where I want you, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because the whole issue, I mean, we're kind of jumping ahead with this, but the whole issue, there's this talk of being hungry, right?
Right, exactly. He's Hungry Tiger.
Oh, I'm not hungry. Funny that you're hungry. I'm not hungry at all. And I was waiting for him to just turn the page and be like, no, I'm starving. You know, something like that. Like, fucking, yeah, dude, it was scary. I'm not going to lie. Because Walter looks creepy, man. And sometimes he's cute, and sometimes he looks creepy.
Which is cool why they, when they had that scene where they're kind of, once they get out of the house and they're running and he like tackles her. And then like the pedestrian sees him.
Right.
It's not what it looks like.
Before we get past it, Malcolm and Maxine have awesome chemistry. I love their chemistry as a couple. And I'm going to highlight the subtle perversion, yeah, there we go, behind Soldering Iron and Taco Bell as pet names. My hat's off.
Wait, what's the joke about soldering iron?
It's
Taco Bell is a pun because it's spelled Belle.
Right. Well, a long, hot...
Poker?
A long, hot rod.
I guess that's true.
And a taco.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Yeah, got it.
Making sense? You get it? What's up with Malcolm's shirt? What is that?
Objectivity?
Objectivity? Is it, right?
Is he a fan of Ayn Rand? What?
Yeah, what's going on? What's happening there?
It's clearly a font. It's clearly, Maxine's got a logo on her shirt too.
That's a podcast, right, Craig?
Yeah, that's it. Like
it's on the cover of the issue.
It's the same
too.
logo that's on the cover, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's recurred. Like I think it's like been in other issues.
Or it's similar to that. Yeah, it has. Some podcast that he likes. I don't know what it is.
But
it's too underground. You don't know it.
Walter's expressions.
We'll ask Savage Dragon editor Gavin Higginbotham. He'll know.
Walter's expressions though are fantastic. Like him playing on the cars and like like smiling and stuff. So good. And then when he's losing, Amy jumps in front of him and he's losing momentum. He is losing his footing because he's got too much momentum. Like the expression on his face,
right.
And then even the expression when he's caught. Like I'm just saying, it's really hard to make animal faces expressive, but Walter's very expressive. It's good stuff, dude. Gotta admit, I like Walter's fear of the police.
Yeah, the fuzz.
It makes nothing but sense. Again, Amy's got a great expression too in that panel. The cops will come after us, like her face.
Yeah,
so
just scared.
And I love the way the snow
hops right on that bus.
See, then I can't let them catch us. The way Eric's drawn, like the snow, like coming down, like the down perspective. Yeah. It's so good.
And I guess
I like the guy in the background where he's like quick. He's got the like fur hat. At first, I thought it was
that
but it
is
looks like he's got a
that
mustache.
is John Day.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a weird getup.
So they hitch a ride on top of a bus to get out of there. And again, this is where I'm talking about. Like, I felt like this whole issue that like Eric was just sort of playing with like ominous things,
right?
Because he's like, yeah, we can catch a ride on this bus. It'll take us south to a warmer climate. And I'm just thinking to myself, goddamn, dude, Walter doesn't give a fuck. Like, he is being irresponsible as a motherfucker, just basically kidnapping Amy at this point, right?
He's like 2 years old, so what you gonna do?
Well, that's the payoff at the end of the issue, right?
I think you can assume that.
I didn't. So that's what's so funny is like to jump ahead, like that's the payoff is that you just realize that like Walter's mentally not mature. Even though he's like full grown, right. He's not mentally mature. But I think that was kind of like the play is like you really don't know,
Right.
For me, that's how it worked. The whole time I was reading it, I felt like there was a sinister like vibe to Walter and his dialogue. And then,
we just don't know enough, so all options are on the table there.
Right, and then you get to the end of the issue, and it's like, oh, well, he was just a dumbass. And then it's just funny because, again, I hate to, like, we're kind of jumping out of, like, order here, but, like, so we read this twice before this FINcast, right? And the whole time I read it the first time, I read it the way Jim said, where it's like I just felt this overwhelming sense of, like, oh, no, dude, like, where is this going? like, what the fuck's gonna happen? Like, oh no, what's gonna happen? Oh, there's gonna be like murder or something like that. And then when I read it the second time, knowing that Walter's just a peon, like just a 2-year-old basically,
Right.
it read completely different. Like, having the benefit of hindsight, like reading Walter's dialogue, he's like literally just like playful and stupid.
Right.
It's fun, dude. I really like it. Like, I was really impressed by how this issue worked, you know?
Yeah, and so they get into a tussle on top of the bus and fall off.
Well, I didn't get that at first.
Yeah.
Like, they jump on the bus, right? And then the page where they're just kind of making snow angels,
right.
I thought they were already off the bus.
Right. It does make...
And I went through it.
That panel does make the what they're laying on seem bigger than a bus, which I guess kind of messes up the choreography information.
I think it's pretty ingenious, though. I think it's almost done on purpose. Like, I think that, you know, in my head, I'm like, all right, we're skipped to the next scene. They're off the bus. And so I think it's kind of just playing with you to think that they're off the bus until that last panel where you realize, oh, crap, they were on a bus the whole time.
Well, it's
I'm not sure if it was intentional, but that's the way it felt like.
again, I'll say I think it's kind of smart, too, because the first time I read it, I totally agree with you. Like, when they were making snow angels, I did not think they were on the bus. But then the second panel, Walter says, oh, life on the open road. And I'm like, oh, shit, they're on the bus. He even, like, is referencing them.
Oh, there, yeah,
He's
you're
even,
right.
but no, I totally am agreeing with you that I think it's, whether it's intentional or not, it is kind of how it worked on me. It's kind of like when I first read it, I didn't think they were on a bus. I thought they were in a field, right?
Yeah, like they just skipped to the next scene.
Right.
They're like off the bus already.
But then you realize that they are irresponsible enough to just be roughhousing on top of a moving vehicle, you know what I mean?
Well, I think also, like, Amy already knows she's super strong, and, like, what holds up for a regular human, she understands won't hurt her. So even though we say it's irresponsible, to them, it's not as irresponsible because they know they won't get hurt if they fall off a bus or, you know.
Right.
They're just being irresponsible in the fact that they're traveling so far away from home.
Right.
I love where, you know, they're just biting each other.
It's good stuff. Yeah.
Walter looks like a tiger, really, when he's biting her. You know, like a real tiger. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty badass looking. And then she actually bites him back and hurts him.
Yeah. Like, he's sort of like play biting, and like she fucking like gets the real bite. I think I love the panel. Like, there's just, again, like, kind of really fun, like, stuff for a issue that is a lot of talking heads. It could be really, like, boring and lame compositionally, but then you've got stuff like it's kind of like a reverse establishing shot of them falling. Like, yeah, that is exactly how it is. Like, when you flip the page and they're like, it seems like, are they on the bus or are they in a field? There's no establishing shot to let you know where they are. And then when the page ends, then you have your establishing shot. But then what's like kind of nice is that the next page starts with an establishing shot. I just love that shot of them like walking, you know, through the snowy field, like just trees everywhere. And it's got that same panel, like the same like conversational, like 6-panel borders as like the previous page.
I think Larson's a genius in the fact that, like, he can open up this issue with, you know, 4 pages or 5 pages of Malcolm and Thor and give us that little bit of taste of fisticuffs, you know, that we've come to expect in Savage Dragon. Just enough so you can say there was a fight, there was some action in it, and then just turn the whole rest of it to, like, you know, a buddy kind of flick where it's not a superhero comic in a way.
And what's funny is, again, like, just to bring it up, like, talking about like whether it was intentional or not, and I think it was, dude. I'm sorry, but like a way to like it's written so that, like, at least to me, this is how it worked on me, and it sounds like it worked on Jim that way too. Mm-hmm. Where it's like this really seemed sinister and foreboding, but then in reality, all it is it's just a buddy, like you said, like a little buddy comic. Like, they're just having fun. Yeah,
so the scene where they find the indoors pool I didn't notice at first that there was a bucket of KFC visible. And so when you go to panel 2 and you see Walter think of KFC,
it looks like he's looking at
Amy. Exactly.
Right. Jim, me too, dude. That's the thing with the foreboding. No, but Craig, you got to understand, the whole time my mind's in foreboding mode, right?
Yeah, like at some point, maybe they're having fun, but at some point Walter's got to revert to like beast mode.
Right.
And once he gets hungry,
especially when you get to the last panel on the page where Amy breaks the doorknob and Walter's behind her, it looks like he's ready to pounce on her.
Right.
But no, I mean, I could see if I didn't see that first panel with the KFC, I'd be thoroughly confused and a little shocked.
Well,
but I definitely caught that first, and all I saw was him being like, "Oh shit, KFC!" I just thought it was funny that Erik actually uses the logo.
Yeah, dude. It's just straight up. It's like not even like no questions asked. Like there it is.
Fair use.
Yeah, technically, it's not like this issue's advertisement is based on KFC. It's not the Adventures of the Colonel,
which DC has published.
Yeah, amazingly enough, the Colonel has met Green Lantern.
Man, I remember when the Colonel was a real person and alive.
He had a gunfight. He had a gunfight duel with another gas station owner over chicken.
I don't recall that story.
What?
And he killed the guy. Google it. Google it. Yeah, Google it. It's nuts, dude.
So, what I did learn, though, is that the reason why he's called Colonel Sanders is because becoming a Kentucky colonel is a thing you can do. And, like, really? Dave Thomas was also a Kentucky colonel. It was just,
what? Is that like getting knighted by the Queen of England?
Yeah, basically. It's just something the state of Kentucky does.
Damn, I'm going to make that my goal.
Really go visit
You have to be born in Kentucky, though?
I don't know the rules. I just know that Dave Thomas said that he was also one.
Wow.
Colonel Craig Olsen.
Colonel.
The sound's got a good ring to it.
Wow,
Colonel
dude.
Craig.
That's fucking bananas.
Yeah, he was.
Figure out what
as far as I know,
do.
He was never in the military. He was just the name he chose and the persona he cultivated. Believe me, the Colonel was absolutely all about that marketing life.
I got to go get knighted by the governor of Kentucky.
Yeah, dude. I always wondered, Jim, why there was no military representation in KFC. Because usually, people with service are proud of it and like use it and like show it off. And I was like, it's weird that the Colonel in every single image is just a fucking old guy. It's weird.
He just comes rolling into the tank.
yeah, right? Or like there's some kind of...
Like Patton.
I guarantee it. And the tank shoots the chicken into your mouth. Thanks, Colonel. I'm telling you, it writes itself. Instead, he's just a fucking old guy. As long as I've been young, he's been old.
So
yeah, who knew it was just a fancy Kentucky
So
nutting.
I'm reading this. I'm going to read this website verbatim. I don't know how accurate this is, but I find it funny. The Honorable Order of Kentucky Colonels does not appoint or commission Kentucky colonels. That can only be done by the sitting governor of the Commonwealth. Only the governor knows the reason for bestowing the honor of a colonel's commission on any particular individual.
What? So it can be anything. So it can be anything.
Indeed.
So we're just, this is America. We're just going to be honest. It can be money. For money, you can buy your way to colonelship.
Or you could just make really, really good chicken.
That's true. You know what, Craig? World traveler. Have you ever had KFC in Japan?
I have not, but it's all over the place in Japan, and they sell beer at the KFC in Hong Kong, I want to say. One of those places. They were advertised cans of KFC beer.
They have Samurai Colonel.
Oh, you know what? I have had KFC in China.
Nice.
I've had a rice porridge with chicken in it.
I was going to say, did they like get rid of mashed potatoes and biscuits or what? Obviously the chicken's got to stay, but like what about biscuits?
KFC is like McDonald's in China though. KFC is huge. It's like their biggest thing of all like the of all the
I'm
chains.
sorry. I know we're in the weeds here, but like maybe people like this, maybe they won't. So, question, true or false? Does America have dumplings like other countries have dumplings?
Well, what
America has
what's
their
a
own
dumpling in
dumplings.
this context? It's
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just open-ended question to you two. True or false? Does America have dumplings like other countries have dumplings?
well,
They have their own style of dumplings.
there's the kind of dumplings that are biscuits with gravy.
Chicken and dumplings. There you go.
But
That's it. I saw a map of dumplings of the world, and I was like, dumplings.
Oh yeah, I've
I was
seen
like,
that.
dumplings of the world.
but aren't
And,
like dumplings also like meat wrapped in bread?
I mean, the bread you can have.
Meat wrap? No,
Like
yeah,
pork dumplings, or like what you get from the Chinese restaurants.
yeah, it's like a dough and a soup.
But the thing is
like with
chicken and
meat
dumplings
inside.
is like chicken beside the dumpling, right?
Right.
Just saying, it's a weird fact.
Yeah, mostly dumplings is like a dough with something inside, like a meat inside of it. Usually.
We've lost our listeners.
All right. Anyway.
Guys, have you ever watched a movie where the parent of a lost child interrupted the movie to beg for their return? Because I would feel a lot more empathy than these two apparently feel.
No, but what I always get, which is very similar, is when there's like a breaking news type thing, whether it's like something presidential or something, and you're in the middle of a movie, which I don't really watch TV anymore. I watch streaming stuff, but I remember back in the day, if America's, send fighter pilots are gone to war or something like that, and you're watching a movie and it just cuts in or something crazy. You know what I mean? Like thunderstorm warning or tornado warning or something. Or they cut over to a presidential address.
Oh my God.
You guys never had that when you're just like, and you lose like half of your show?
Well, I mean, it's 2021. Most of us don't watch live TV anymore.
But this guy does. He makes it a point to say he finds it exciting about
Craig,
watching live TV.
who did he just say that sentence to?
What do you mean?
Read that sentence that you just said.
Oh, hind dog.
Right?
Which is the license plate on the car, right?
Yeah. I didn't realize that till just now, dude.
It must be someone maybe on that podcast or something.
Still, there's something exciting about seeing a beloved movie on live TV, Hind Dog. It's just a funny name, if nothing else. I'm sorry, I know that's so stupid, but like, I didn't make that connection. I was like, Hind Dog, is that a pet name? What's going on? And then Hind Dog was on the cover. Oh, I'm so sorry. Bros, this splash page of Walter jumping into the pool while Amy eats a chicken is fucking great.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't
wearing
turn the page and like
pants?
find Amy hung upside down with all her entrails hanging out.
Just him just gnawing on
Yes.
bone.
I'm glad that wasn't what happened.
Just mauling.
Does his swim trunk say Fanta?
I was going to ask that.
What does it say?
Are those Fanta shorts?
I don't know.
Looks that way. There are bubbles like a drink would have.
Right?
Strange.
We got KFC and Fanta?
I like how he was like, he's a tiger, but he feels the need to wear swim trunks.
He's become accustomed to hiding his shame.
I feel like it was at that moment that I no longer felt that Amy was in danger.
Yeah, basically, at this point. Yes, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
and then you turn the page, and then they're in danger.
Right. But yeah, that was the terror. Is I was like, oh, Walter's not going to do anything to Amy. Yeah. Yeah. I think we have notes on this, don't we, gentlemen?
So, what did you guys first think when you turned the page here and you got the bear?
I thought they were
At first, did you guys realize right off the bat it was grizzly, or did it take
I
a
did,
second?
because I recognized his goggles.
I did not. I thought it was another animal man.
It took me a second. I mean, my eyes, once I saw the focused on the goggles, I was like, that's got to be a grizzly. But at first, I was like, oh, fuck, they're in trouble.
Right.
Then I was like, oh.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was him until I started talking to him.
Well, to be fair, he is a new character.
Right.
So you're not used to his... This panel is so weird because it's a direct homage to another artist.
Bill Sienkiewicz.
But it's like, I recognize it as Grizzly, but he's so distorted. It's like, it's almost as if it's like showcasing like another facet of his powers. Like maybe he can like bulk out like this in like this really extreme way.
So the thing is remember how huge he is in that initial splash page, right?
Oh yeah, he's big.
And remember that Amy is a child? I think the illusion going on here is that he is huge and Walter's not as big as you think.
Right. I mean, Walter's probably not taller than Malcolm.
Oh, definitely not. Like Malcolm's 6'4", right?
Yeah.
Tisk, Craig. Remember, jot that down.
Also, you know, his hair might be like all fluffed out because it's like he's in the middle of a snowstorm,
right.
You know?
Yeah, you can see the snow. I think, here's what's cool about this sequential art. We'll put on our cartoonist kayfabe hat here. Walter and Amy are being shocked by a figure emerging from, like, clearly like a shit ton of snow.
Right.
Bro, it's like a figure emerging from like a blur. Like you wouldn't initially know what you were looking at, especially a huge figure like him. So yeah, I love it. I think it's awesome. It kind of like,
yeah,
the snow's so intense that the snow itself is like only visible across his like darkened midsection.
Right, it's like a whiteout.
Right.
Ah, it's cool.
Yeah,
man. This is cool.
I love the claws and everything. It's just like, oh shit, he's imposing looking.
Dear
man.
listeners, Google Demon Bear New Mutants, and you will be in for a treat. Bill Sienkiewicz, New Mutants issue 18. This is quite the homage.
So I've never read that era of New Mutants, but I was familiar with that panel. It is very iconic of the era.
Same. You know what I found researching for this issue? Demon Bear, iconic enough to have officially had representation in modern DC entertainment.
I think you mean Marvel?
Marvel?
Whatever.
New Mutants?
God damn it. No. Yeah, Marvel. Yeah. He was in New Mutants, the TV show.
The movie?
The movie, whatever. I don't watch it.
What the hell is going on here?
You know what I mean. He was a secondary villain in the New Mutants that happened recently. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
What, is there a TV show or is
I'm
it
pretty
just
sure
a movie?
it's just the movie.
Right.
I'm not listening to you, Raven. Obviously, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm asking Jim.
The
right
important
here,
part.
'cause I
Well, I
can't
don't
trust
know.
you
I
right
haven't
now.
watched any of it.
The important part is that
You're leading me down all these wrong ways.
All I know is the only recent New Mutants came out was a movie last year.
Well, there you go.
There was Legion, right?
Well, there is Legion. It's possible it could be Legion.
Demon Bear was in that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I think he looks.
You're saying a lot of things. I don't know what to trust right now.
I think he looks cool as shit in the other panel too, where he's like, "Your parents are worried." I think he still looks like Eric has rendered him cool as fuck in that panel.
Yeah. And it looks like they don't use Gully in his helicopter anymore. They've got their own
Jump jet.
Canadian Quinjet thing.
A helicopter would not be able to fly safely in snow of that intensity.
Listen to this guy.
Yep.
You sure about that?
Jot
you
that
sure?
down, 6'4". Just good faces. Good faces this whole issue. I thought it was really fantastic. The payoff, I think it's brilliant the way this issue read. I'd love to hear from listeners if they were bamboozled. Jim, all right, hold on. Were you bamboozled all the way up to the pool scene just like me?
Yes, basically up until the pool scene, I thought something terrible was going to happen.
Correct. And then once you hit the pool scene, you were no longer bamboozled. Bamboozlement had ended.
Correct. Everyone's safe. KFC was being eaten.
Right. And then the bear is the danger. And then we find out the bear is not the danger.
Correct.
The Bears.
And I think that's why I didn't I did say I immediately recognized him as the Grizzly. But I also thought that maybe something weird was going on with him, that maybe he was actually a threat because of how imposing he is.
Oh yeah. He looked villainous. What's funny is talking about like Walter looking sinister at points. He looks sinister as shit. You kids up to trouble. You kids safe. He's like the snow slayer in Home Alone. The snow shovel slayer.
It's a typical trope, though. I mean, you've seen that in movies, right? Where you just like bump into someone like huge, and you're like, "Oh shit!" and it pans out, and it's like, "Oh, it's this guy."
I'm telling you, the snow shovel slayer in Home Alone. That's his whole arc.
Oh yeah, right.
Fucking
right.
Kevin's scared of him the whole movie, and he's a nice guy. Question.
Yes.
Now that we know that Walter is a peon, is he like adopted by the dragon family?
Man,
Like,
I hope so.
me too, dude.
I need to know what the hell happened to Greta Gearbox and why she isn't around anymore, because she and Walter need to have like a relationship of some kind. Not like a physical relationship, but they ought to have like just meet each other,
There's
pal
a
around.
lot. There's a lot of comedy there, Jim.
You know, that's a good point. You know, what happened to Greta? I thought she was there to help kind of also protect the
She's
kids.
supposed to be there to like a clean the house, B, protect the kids, C, like be one of the few people who can handle Maddie, maybe.
And she's just gone.
And I don't think we've seen her since I can't remember the last time we've seen her.
You're correct. Although I feel like this is one of those Savage Dragon things where our mind may be impacted by the delays between the issues.
Right. Maybe she's hanging out with Captain Tootsie.
Well, but I do think that you are correct. I will agree that it feels like there should have at least been a nod in dialogue. Like when Amy was gone, like if Maxine or Malcolm had been like, "God damn it, Greta, what's going on with you?" or something like that. Like just a nod in dialogue. Or, man, Greta's like recharging. I wish Greta wasn't oh no, what a time Greta was recharging and Amy slipped away, or just something like that would have helped, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Or Tootsie's making repairs.
Yeah,
or
we have
something.
not, according to the Savage Dragon Wiki, we actually haven't seen her since like 250.
Really?
Really? I wonder if she got damaged during the fight. Let me double check that.
I don't think it was said. We would have noticed.
That'd be a shame. I'm going to be honest. I like Greta as a character, and
Me too.
really don't want to see her gone. I think there's like a lot of comedy potential. Plus, too, there's interesting things that can happen. Yeah, really don't. I'd hate to see her go.
Right, she like prevented the kids from helping out in the fight, and then the kids ran her over, and that was nope. Then she shows up right at the end of the fight, and nothing seems to be amiss. She just hasn't been around.
Yeah, I think Greta should at least have had, especially with Greta's duty being to watch the kids, and one of the kids fucking escapes.
Right.
Definitely should have at least maybe been some text to acknowledge that, for sure.
Yeah, we need to find out what happened to Greta.
We need
ASAP.
that Greta. We need that Greta subplot. You're giving us Paul and Alex reading comics. We could have had Greta dialogue. No, no, I'm joking. I agree, though. I agree that there's a chance for Greta to have been more involved, especially in this issue, right? Like send Greta out to look for her, like, or Greta like is looking for her too. I don't know.
Sure. I'm just kidding. I'm an asshole now. I just am.
What a dick.
That's what I do.
And
I think we should. You guys want to talk about this nifty backup and shed a little light on it?
yeah, it might feel weird, right? Like deja vu for readers, regular readers, like, or also too, like, what's going on? Like, I remember this kind of feels familiar, but all of a sudden, like, Walter's fucking naked. Definitely felt like he had clothes on. Strange. Why do I have these weird memories? Well,
Because you're a pervert.
right. I like to remember tigers clothed, but when in fact they were nude. No, but this is basically a little bit of rewriting, you know, kind of a retcon to make a sequence flow better, right? So for the trades, what happened is that the way we hit it as readers is that they first introduced Walter in 252.
Right, in the strip.
In the strip.
In the funnies, Sunday funnies strips.
Right. However, he's coming into Amy's room to get clothes. But then you see the story here originally as it ran in 253, the second issue, and he's clothed and they're talking about birthday cake and, Walter's like, I love cake. Let's get some cake and stuff like that. Erik decided that he was going to switch it up and that it would be a little bit better for him to, flow into the sequences like he's naked, they meet, they learn each other's names as they do in this backup printed here.
So is he moving this from where it originally was to...
Yes.
So he's moving it. You're not going to see it twice.
No, you're not going to see in trade. If you're a trade reader...
Right.
The new version will run in Savage Dragon Family Matters trade paperback between issues 251 and 252. So the way it's going to read is you're going to see this sequence where she goes out in the alley and meets him naked and tells him maybe you should wear clothes. Hi, I'm Walter. Hi, you're Amy. And then in the strip, Walter's coming into her room for clothes.
Right.
So it flows more.
See, I thought he was going to show both.
I also thought...
And although it's the same images, it's just Walter outside the window both nights. The first night when he gets clothes, the second night is when she invites him to the birthday.
And I also thought part of the reason he's doing this is because he had 5 extra pages to fill because he had some back matter to put in.
The way I understood it, the intent was to change it up so that he didn't like the flow, the impact. Like, he didn't like them learn, just like you just meet. Like, the way the strip runs is you just meet Walter and he's like,
Right.
They just know each other's names and they're just like,
Mm-hmm.
they're fighting in her room. He didn't like that flow. And so...
So 253 won't be in continuity anymore.
Not the version as it hit issues, no. But that's only trades. Like,
It'll be the 258 replaces it.
Yeah. The backup in 258 will run between 251 and 252.
Gotcha.
Yep. So that, like, they meet, he's naked. Then in the strip in 252, he's coming into the room for clothes. And then from there on out, he's wearing clothes. So that's the history, y'all. Not much to say other than it's quite hilarious. Erik had to draw a bunch of naked Walter bodies to be photoshopped on top of his previously clothed body.
Yep.
Also, I don't think I ever noticed that there is a duder or a guy in the trash at Walter's feet.
Oh, actually, I think there's a really interesting point about the art, how he did it. I think he drew it on the back of the actual pages that he drew it originally, so that whoever would, buy the original art of that would have both versions.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
At least I think that's what he did.
I'm comparing both, and the trash is different in one than the other. It's got the doll and the orange and stuff. It's just like random crap, like just indecipherable objects in the 253 version.
Oh, okay.
So the 258 version is definitely a domestic tranquility nod, right?
Mm.
Yeah, sure. I think all of 2 people got that, and you're talking to them.
Right. Perfect. Well put.
Yeah, that little doll is not in the original. That's on the ground coming out of the trash. That's redrawn.
It's got to be a guy and duder doll, or guy or duder, one of the two. Guys, I missed funnies.
I guess he's trying to show that he's picking through the Dragon family trash, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. I missed these funnies, Although.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a little bit, hasn't
Well,
it?
there's the Vanguard backups, right?
Right.
Right.
So I got no problem with Vanguard backups, but I'm just saying I do love just the funnies. I love random like unpredictable like backups. Moonbeard, it's my winner every time.
Every time?
Yeah, it's good.
I really like to eat more bikes. Greonk. Is that
Godzilla would never fight Mothra?
Sorry, what?
Godzilla wouldn't fight Mothra? They're lovers?
I'm pretty sure they fought.
I know, I'm joking.
Maybe they're loving.
That's possible. Didn't love Kevin Days a Week. Didn't hate it, just didn't love it. You're just sandwiched between two titans.
It did seem like a lot of panels to get to the punchline. I think brevity would have served it well.
Yeah. That the parents were more choked up over the,
Yeah.
the thing with the kid, Just made me think, man, what a shitty kid. He doesn't give a fuck.
Kids usually don't.
So I would say that was a very unique. Sorry, Craig, go ahead.
No, sorry.
I was going to wrap it up.
Oh, just one thing of the funnies. I really enjoy how, and I think it's Adam Pruitt, just changes up the format and the look of the funnies every time he does them. He could easily just make it look the same, in terms of sometimes he does it black and white, the different, faded paper, old paper, new paper look, but he always puts something together to make it visually appealing, which is pretty awesome. So just my little tip of the hat.
Agreed, yeah. I love there's some random ghosting effects on these.
Yep.
It's very good, dude. Yep. Love it. Yeah, absolutely. Worth praise. Rate this issue, fellas. How you feeling? Feeling like it was strong? Feeling like we dipped? How you feeling? Because I think we were high last issue, weren't we? Did we end that one feeling good?
I mean, I feel like there was, in the past year, maybe one issue that I wasn't that pleased with, which was like the Mako issue. I felt like this whole series has been on fire for a while now. And listen, you can't have just all-out brawls, or maybe you can, but, it's just fun to mix it up every once in a while. And I think this issue did a real good job mixing it up, keeping it interesting. Fun characters. It was a joy to read. I enjoyed it. I liked everything about it. It's not your typical issue of Savage Dragon, so it's hard to compare. But for that reason, I think it's also pretty awesome. Plus the cover's banging, like Jim said.
Jim, give me your feedback. How's this issue treating you?
I think it was a really interesting issue because, as we saw, it led with the conclusion of last issue, so we got that traditional action beat. And then we get a really interesting, if not particularly action-oriented, like adventure with Amy and Walter. I think I was expecting a little bit more, I don't know, hanging out like the cover promises, but I think because it's wintertime, which is something I didn't consider, at the time, you kind of have to have the more traveling snow adventure.
Sure.
As opposed to like hanging out downtown, getting into trouble. I'm going to say, because the first read had those kind of almost sinister overtones, I'm going to say that if that was intentional, bravo. If it was accidental, still pretty good. If it was not ever supposed to be read that way, oops. But I'm going to say 8 out of 10 for snow effects.
Very respectable, dude.
I think one of the things too is that he almost has to put the snow in because the issue before he was all in snow, and it just made that issue. Just that snow makes the issue.
This does seem to take place pretty close to the end of last issue, so no time really has passed, which is unusual for Dragon. Usually there would be a time skip in between, like fighting Thor and going home.
Right, but the battle continues, and then
yeah.
I'm gonna steal a little off-air bit that Mr. Jim Purcell himself said, but chose not to put in the FINcast, so I'm bringing it in. When we were doing our little, and we never talk much off air because we want to give you sweet listeners the true off the cuff reaction.
First impression.
Yeah. But Jim said the shoe never dropped, and I'm glad.
Right. So you spend the whole issue expecting the other shoe to drop, and then you find out there's no shoe.
Yep. And actually, I'm just going to echo your sentiment there, because it's funny, because that's how I read it. Like, the whole issue, I was on pins and needles, like, oh, God, oh, no, what's going to happen, oh, no. And, like, it was really suspenseful. And then I realized that it was anticlimax. Like, nothing was going to happen. Like, they just get found and they go home.
Right.
But I was thankful. I like it. It's funny how it flip-flopped in my mind from, like, here's an issue, I'm just filled with dread, and I'm waiting for that Savage Dragon twist where, you know, you flip the page and Amy's ripped in half, you know, and nothing happened. And actually, I love Walter, I love Amy, and I was like, you know what? I'm cool with this. It just ended up being like kind of an Angel and Glum in their earlier, more innocent kind of days.
Only, in this case, Walter is absolutely not Glum.
Yeah, he's actually just a naive little... And I love that. That was kind of a cool payoff, because again, like, I was thinking to myself when I was thinking it was Sinister, I was like, oh no, dude, are we doing like, is this like the modern like Glum and Angel? And then, like, you just kind of like, he played me for a fiddle like a fiddle, played me like a fiddle, played me for a fool like a fiddle. That's what I was trying to say, because basically, you know, it's not just a retread. It's not just like Glum and Angel again. It's like, no, if you were thinking that, no, the issue makes it very clear by the end. It's like, look, if you're thinking Walter is something maybe more sinister, no, dude, he's just a 2-year-old. Like, physically mature, but mentally not mature. And so I love it. I loved how that worked out. So for me, I'm going to rate it maybe a little higher than you guys, because, like, I just think the Sienkiewicz, like, it did a lot. Like, I thought there was a lot going on, and it didn't have to have a lot for the story that it was. But it had, like, that Sienkiewicz, like, awesome splash. It had super-powered Malcolm. I like the meta-humor with Paul and Alex. I'm going to dip it a point because of the lack of Greta Gearbox. I do think that should have been addressed. But, man, just solid. So I'm going to give it, like, a 9.
Nice. That's a high score, dude.
Yeah, it was very satisfying. Well, look, again, to me, it pulled off a slick trick. Like, it read completely different from the first time I read it to the second.
And that's the thing with Larson, is that, you know, he's made this universe his own with, you know, shocking deaths, so that he can have that element to it where you don't feel safe. Whereas, you know, something like a Marvel comic, if it's Franklin Richards, you don't have that real, they're gonna kill him or something. You know what I mean?
Well
like,
put, Craig.
Like this is something that in the back of your head that could be a possibility. You know, something could happen. And so you don't know which way he's gonna go, because he always like does something, you know, unexpected.
Very well put. Like, it's this same story. If it's like Damian Wayne, I'm not worried about Damian Wayne at all. Like, he's valuable IP. He's not getting axed.
Well, he's one crisis away from being eliminated from history. Him and John Kent have that ongoing problem with me, is that they are, when DC gets tired of having the children of Batman and Superman be a thing, they'll just get eliminated from time.
Nightwing. They do that thing where they just age him up in a weird way, and Bruce Wayne's still young and they're fucking old.
I mean, they already aged John up.
It is weird.
It's very weird, dude. It's the thing I hate. Like, I hate that. It's like fucking Batman is still young, and like fucking one of his Robins is like old enough to be having sex and shit.
Right.
It's weird. I don't like it. It's so, yeah. It's part of why I like Savage Dragon, man. It's that real time thing.
So, not to get off topic, but
I'm getting off right
so
now.
how old is Batman? How old is Batman and how old is Nightwing?
I think the idea is that Nightwing is like 20 and that Batman is like, I don't know, 36, 38.
That's weird. That's still weird. That doesn't work.
Because that would mean if he was Robin and a teenager. Not really, because then Batman would have been like 20, or not 20, like 25.
16.
When Grayson was like 16. Well, yeah, something like that. I mean, it works out.
What?
Not well.
Mathematically. It's just that you have to kind of accept that Batman is like perpetually healthy. like all this getting his ass beat isn't right, doesn't like take the toll it should.
Right.
And being close to 40 isn't at much of a detriment.
Anytime I see like a child in corporate comics, I'm always just like, so where's this go? Like when Luke Cage and Jessica Jones had a baby, I was like, all right, well, when's it gonna die? When's it gonna get stolen or like magicked away to a different planet or
oh
some
man,
shit.
magicked away. That's the best one.
Magicked away.
Because or yeah, they were planted there by Mephisto to manipulate them.
It was all magic. You know? Terrible, dude.
It's the only way it can be done.
Yikes.
Well, then you have a case of like the other Richard's child, Valeria or whatever her name is, where she died in a miscarriage and then got brought back to life.
Ugh.
Yes.
That is awful. Is
like
that
like
how
like
they did
like
that?
like a decade later. I mean, it's like they had Franklin, and then they were going to have a second kid, but then superhero stuff happened, and Sue Richards had a miscarriage. And then at some point in the future, like in the 2000s, and this happened in like the 80s, I think, not the 90s.
Was this John
I don't know,
Byrne stuff?
probably. It was probably a John Byrne story. It sounds like a John Byrne story. But in the 2000s, they did this thing where Dr. Doom like pulled an alternate reality version of her out of time, raised her, and then eventually she got returned to like the Richardses.
I hate everything you just said.
Oh yeah.
Nothing says, can I just say, nothing says escapist fantasy like miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on.
Horrible.
We got Savage Dragon babies bursting out of pregnant girls.
That's more like that's more like the parent. The parent is miscarried. You know what I mean?
See, Raven wouldn't have a problem with the miscarriage story in Savage Dragon. It's in
Because
these.
it would have ramifications. Is all.
Right. Whereas in corporate comics, it has to get glossed over pretty much immediately, so that Sue Richard can go back to kicking ass in the next issue.
Yeah, you need Spider-Man to be
wholesome.
You need Spider-Man to be single, so instead of getting a divorce, the devil undoes his marriage. That's what I don't like.
If he gets a divorce, he's like unhappy
I
old
know.
guy.
Well, people wouldn't like divorced Spider-Man because he's a jerk.
And what's funny is they did him in Into the Spider-Verse, and everybody loved him.
Right.
My relationship fell apart with Spider-Man. Everybody was like, "Oh, I just love him. I love failed Peter," and I'm like, "God damn, see." You can write a fallen character and have them still be appealing. Whatever. What a rant.
Yes. So,
You know what?
I think it's
let's
time to
wrap it.
this
Take
show
it
up.
home, Raven.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what I'm thinking about? A new force to be reckoned with. The Canadian super team, North Force, is looking to recruit a new member to their team. Malcolm Dragon. And, worth noting, if, by some slim chance, you haven't arranged to get your North Force, order in, contact your comic shop, get that North Force Zero issue, dude.
Get them before the fine art collecting money launderers do.
Yeah. So, just saying. That is the one. The next one has North Force on the cover, but then they've also got the North Force, variant with bios as the backup.
North Force 000.
Soon to be a major motion picture.
North Force. Wouldn't it be crazy if North Force took off and Savage Dragon didn't?
Yes, that would be very crazy.
Just Canadians just super fucking supported North Force.
So how many?
Forget.
So how many?
Alpha
How many
Flight.
bodies do you think by the end of this issue?
Of North Force?
Yes.
259?
Yes.
No, they're here for the long
You
haul.
think they get wasted? Oh, they get their own cover and then just gone. That'd be insane. That'd be awesome.
No way. I'm calling it right now since you asked. 0 bodies.
Yeah, I don't.
All
think so.
bodies.
The whole team.
All of them will be dead.
Are you being glib?
The first 5 pages.
First 5 right in the previews. Another one of those, Eric, I just can't run previews this month. Every page is a spoiler. Goddamn, North Force dies in the first 5 pages. I want to see the Queen of England
No way.
chomping on a cigar, and she turns to the camera and goes, "God damn it, get me North Force."
Well, it is. Oh, I don't even know what the word is, but yes, they do have a queen.
That's what I mean.
Uh-oh. I think we went through this before.
Fair enough. All right, I
thought we were ending.
Thank you,
Yes.
listeners.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. You can always find us at savagefincast.com. You can email us at savagefincast@gmail.com. Find us on YouTube's under Savage FINcast. You can leave a message on our under any episode on our website. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM. Think that's everything. We out.
Thank you,
Peace.
Craig. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, listeners.